we pause.
The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Listen here, this is a fact of life. I be rapping like Nat Turner came back to life. Grab Donald Trump by the pussy, he ain't acting right. I never run from a conflict, I be glad to fight. It's a very cold world that we live in. Somebody please tell Elizabeth you're not an Indian. You just trying to con them people to get the benefit. Just another immigrant, stealing from the Indians. That's some punk ass shit and that's too lame. Now we finna step over to Andrew Yang. And you a sucker, you could never speak for black folks. Fake ass pandering, trying to get the black vote. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. You know your boy be high off sativa. Kamala wasn't popping, so we said bye, Felicia. She ain't had a right policy. We ain't trying to meet her. Y'all can take Biden too. Bye. We don't need him. We don't need Roland Martin or that coon Al Sharpton. Didn't need Cory Booker from the start, man. I don't fuck with police and no snitch. You know I'm coming with the heat when I spit it. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. If you ever go to court and this is your luck, try not to get fucked by Benjamin Crump. I know it's hard. You and all go is hard. But who the fuck is Amy Cloak? Put her picture up on the bullseye and start throwing darts. People cut our organs out our bodies, that's a stolen heart. They can't save us from the flood like Noah's Ark. Black lives always matter, we finna go for ours. So then we savages, we don't need to pot the piss. Mike Bloomberg can suck dick with that stop and frisk. Bitch, you ain't speaking for us, we don't know you. Bernie Sanders, and get your funky ass on too. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me.
4 hours?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, let's do the trivia.
I'm talking about shout it going crazy. People going crazy in them motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it's nothing. Nothing. Got a woman on the bed. Man made the car. Man made the train to carry the heavy load. Man made the electric light to take us out of the dark. Man made the boat for the water. Like the seven no man. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy. And man makes them happy because man makes them joy. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes money? To buy from other men. This is a man
Greetings, Black family. Greetings, and thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Frontline Black News. I'm your host, Chan Crewman. We're joined with the other host, Lady Che. She's in the background.
And his sister B.
Hold on. And our West Coast correspondent, Shabaka San Corey, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. And we are once again at my sister B, Bianca's house.
I'm like, and his sister B.
And on season 5, episode 3, or trade, part 2, part due to the Frontline Black News. We'll be discussing several topics. But we didn't on part 1. And those are, did Trump, aka the dump, as a human ship, and we want to make that perfectly clear, commit insider trading, and should there be an investigation?
Of course he did.
Then Social Security is collapsing, long waits.
He did that when he got shut out of the parties.
Website.
Do you understand? When he wasn't invited to certain parties anymore, he said, "Oh yeah, well, I'm gonna start telling you guys a secret." See, you could end it. We can watch Sonic 3 right now.
Endless calls by Doge.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Nick Fuentes.
It happened.
Remember Nick Fuentes? Nick
Fuentes. Yeah, sounds familiar.
Said this about Jason Whitlock.
He sure did.
After your brother wants to know why Africans don't like Americans.
Oh wow!
Love the
Do
folks.
we really have to go there?
It's the neo-colonialism.
We have to go there because I can honestly say why don't nobody like us.
And Professor Black Truth.
Why is that, Sister Bianca, and like me? Please help. I'm ignorant.
No, I'm not done yet. Oh God damn it, Shabaka! Let me finish the topic, Shabaka.
All right, okay, let Jesse finish the topics first. Go ahead, Jesse. I'm sorry.
Professor Black Truth classic from 2 years ago, combating the trader class. The top 15 U.S. cities Black Americans are leaving, and why you might too.
What cities in particular? I know Los Angeles is one of them. That's why I left the raggedy motherfucker.
Los Angeles anymore. When you live in fucking Vegas and we live in Colorado.
And then white supremacist alert.
Because no, Khalifa. People don't understand Khalifa's part.
And the last topic, if we get to it, is why you.
Let's not talk about it no more.
14
I get it, but it's
stars
Queen Khalifa's place.
after Virginia shooting,
oh my God,
a neighborhood
I want to
shootout,
go home now.
leaves 3 dead.
Y'all are killing me with this bullshit.
Damn.
Peace.
So a motherfucker went all the way postal again, huh?
Yeah.
The fuck I won't.
No,
I will leave both. Good night. Goodbye.
No.
Peace out. Where's my shoes? I'm out.
No.
And
I don't give a fuck.
Where's
My
my
hoodie, where my shit, I'm gone.
No.
I got your shoes. And you're not going anywhere.
No,
And I got your
I
bag.
cannot do it.
And I'm gonna lay on it.
Jesse will take it home whenever he
The
takes it home.
first topic is Trump.
I will go home. Goodbye.
Huh?
I can't
Hold
do
on,
it.
somebody.
Okay. All righty. Brother Chase stepped off for a minute. Okay, so we got a good lineup tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Also, too, we're stating our disclaimer. We are not doing any copyright infringement, okay? We're using fair use under the Copyright Act of 1976. But then again, these goddamn statutes are so fucking ambiguous they cannot be understood by the common man. And the shit is ambiguous, okay? And to quote Dr. Huey P. Newton, that any statute that is so complicated and so ambiguous that it cannot be understood by a common man is not a statute. And we're doing fair use. Hey, Daniel Berry, how you doing? Twin Pyramid saying, what's up, reality? Reality is out of the shy. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, temperatures are starting to get warm out here in Las Vegas. So, once again, I don't need no suntan lotion. I was born with a tan, you know, and we need some contributors, okay, to keep this platform up. because in about 12 days, this damn thing is going to be crashing, and so we appreciate it if people could donate, for our cause, they say, and what have you. Okay. So once again, Donald Duck and his bullshit is back in the news again. Okay. And then they saying that this fool, they gave him a clean bill of health, saying that this old bastard is in good shape to be the president. So the tariff wars is going on. So shit like iPhones, laptops, all that shit is going to be going up in price. So save your material. Just say, download it on terabytes and flash drives like I've done. You say, because we put a lot of work on.
Peace, Max 45. Peace, Daniel. Peace, crew. Crew reality in the building.
Hey, Ray. Mother Hospital.
Hey, crew.
Did another summer
Belated birthday.
Did a solid for me. I can never forget.
Can you eat banana pancakes?
I will do my best.
We'll do my best. Banana pancakes.
All right, Shabaka. So the first topic is the dump, as in human shit, and we'll make that
right. Oh, absolutely. And then Trump deserves to go right straight to fucking jail. Okay. And so if you got a 39, how many felonies this trick get hit with? 38, 34. Okay. So if he's a 34 count convicted felon that could be elected as a president, then the inmates in the jails throughout the US of A ought to put in a bid to run for president as well, too. But then again, white America is nothing more than hypocrisy anyway.
You know it.
Say, anytime they show dump, it's still photographs of him, they ought to show his mug shot.
He loves that mug shot. He put that mug shot right there in the Oval
mad
Office.
about that shit.
He loved that shit. Don't entice him with any
motherfucking mug shot that I took, I always look like hell.
That motherfucker is
some odd reason, why when a motherfucker get booked and go to jail, his mug shot looks like hell.
Right.
Your mug shot looks like hell. In jail without bail. In jail.
Yeah, without the bail.
Are we talking about our president?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that motherfucker ain't no president of mine. He's a goddamn convicted felon. That son bitch ain't qualified to be president.
Shabaka.
Let me be the goddamn president. I'll cook reparations so goddamn.
Hi, it's me. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that
what?
He loves to call everybody else ghetto, right? This is a felon with failed businesses. He had to file bankruptcy. He dodged the military, has 2 baby mamas.
Right.
If that don't sound like a nigga to me, I'm just saying, if that don't sound like a nigga to me.
Okay, and then one of his wives,
there are black men and there are niggas, and he sounds like a nigga. Do you understand? And that's the reason why it's like you guys literally elected trailer trash.
Sister Bianca, it's worse than that. They elected shit. They elected the dump as in human shit. You know, when you go take a bowel movement on the toilet and you flush shit down the toilet, that's what he is. I compared the dumpster to shit in the toilet.
Oh my God.
I know it's horrible. I know it's foul.
Y'all put him in office? I didn't.
I didn't voted for this fool. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they getting what they deserve.
What we have to keep on considering is his ties to Elon Musk. Did everybody really elect this motherfucker?
No,
or was it computer AI generated his fucking vote?
Oh yeah, I agree with you, sister.
Let's be very fucking real. Any election is literally a family popularity contest.
Pretty much.
It's a family popularity contest because there's not one president that is elected that's not related to all the other ones. And it's cousins against cousins every fucking election.
Right. So which means is that
that means it's a popularity contest amongst the families.
What's up, cuz?
Oh yeah, because these is crooks. These is crooks. These people have no morals. Okay, look at Hunter Biden with that stash that he had. You know what I'm saying? Look at the dumpster.
This is what a lot of people fail to realize. Trump actually buried a lot of fucking money when he had went bankrupt back in the late 90s when he had all these Trump hotels. We need to be looking underneath these Trump hotels for his goddamn money. I bet you he knows where the shit is.
Oh, hell yeah. And you know the motherfucker got a casino here in Sin City.
Blow up a Trump hotel for that reason.
Yeah, here in Sin City.
Yeah, he shot himself in the head and the car.
He had laid out the American flag and he literally was trying to let us know some goony fucking clues as to what was going on.
Well, Trump, he's fucked up in the head.
Clues. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All the time.
Oh yeah, Governor Rolaids, he's fucked up in the head. You know, Governor Bud down in Great State, Texas. You know, now the dumpster is sending the National Guard to the border with live rounds, okay, with banana clips, okay. And if anybody who ever served in the military knows what a banana clip is.
Yes, Shabaka. But we got to get to the topic, so Lisa gonna give us an update.
Just commit insider trading. Well, he is a criminal.
I'm sorry. Just even the title. Did
Donald Trump
insider trading?
Just commit insider trading?
He wasn't invited to certain parties, and
he is a criminal.
Bitch, so he will turn around and be like, "Oh, you didn't invite me to the party."
And isn't that what a criminal would do?
Yeah.
Well, there are many.
Which is why
calling for an investigation because they believe that is exactly
president. And everybody talks about how messy he is.
Over these past several days, the stocks were down because of Donald Trump putting all those tariffs out.
Magazines. I've never been in military.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he placed a pause on those tariffs, and the market went from red to green. And then there was something else that Donald Trump did just before he hit on the pause. And this is why people are saying they believe this is insider trading. Donald Trump sat there and committed a crime. And let me show this to you. So here is the post he put out on Truth Social just before he paused the tariffs. This is a great time to buy DJT. So if you went out there and followed his instruction, especially if you were his millionaire and billionaire friends, they would have made a killing. And this is more proof, in my opinion, that Donald Trump is not there for this country.
The motherfucker never has been, honey.
He is there for himself. He ain't never been there.
That trick is out for himself. And he deserves to go straight to fucking jail.
Donald Trump only want to be in office because he is afraid to go to jail.
Send the motherfucker to Alcatraz. It's a
is
federal
like a
joint. He could still be the president there, and he can be out there on that raggedy motherfucker all
Isn't it
by himself.
convenient that he put this out there around the time he paused the tariffs? That's not a coincidence, y'all. He knows what he's doing. And, you know, some people are trying to sweep this under the rug. This definitely needs to be investigated. It's just the timing of everything. All right, y'all. You know, this is a serious thing. If there were any type of insider trading going on, he committed a crime. He committed a crime.
Yeah, he did, because he's a crook.
What is insider trading?
This is what crooks do.
What it is insider trading occurs when someone uses non-public material or information to gain some sort of unfair advantage in the stock market, and that non-public thing would be the tariffs. It's considered a serious white-collar crime under the U.S. securities law, and it undermines the trust in fair market practices. So
fair market practices.
There are many, and I did see some of the Democrats calling for an investigation, and I agree. You know, it really does need to be looked into because of how this whole thing happened.
Biden and Harris are crooks, right? Pelosi is a crook.
Message out on Truth Social, and then him pausing right after that.
Could you be more specific, crew?
It does look suspicious, you know? And look, y'all, this thing is not going away. These tariffs, even if he paused it for now, just understand these tariffs are not going away. When he imposed these tariffs again, it's going to be summer. And prices naturally go up in the summer because it's a big travel season. It's a big vacation time.
Exactly.
It is
gas,
a big time
tires,
when people
auto
are
repairs,
getting into tourism.
CDs, motor oil.
So prices are already going to be high. And once he imposes these tariffs again, it's going to go through the roof. The prices.
Oh, big time.
It's already ridiculous. And when you put tariffs on China that are over 100%,
we're already living in Trumponomics, first and foremost,
for the things we buy.
And we're listening to a celebrity,
and this country was stupid enough to give their manufacturing jobs for China. And you know what China did? And I read this years ago. Everything that the U.S. sent over to China, China duplicated those products and put it out in their own market. That's why they were able to move financially to the position and the powerful country that they are today, by duplicating everything that American manufacturers sent over there.
They were a part of African culture. And that's
so now that you made your enemies rich, they said they're not going to back down from this tariff war with Donald Trump. And I saw he upped the tariffs again. And they're doing the same thing, retaliating.
The reason why America couldn't do what it could now, what it
just
could
prepare for the worst,
is because we had more social
this ain't going away. Prices are going to continue to elevate, and I am more inclined to believe that something shady did happen. Something shady definitely happened.
If something shady
now, whether the investigation will bring that out, I don't know.
Something shady.
But as it stands, it
Again,
seems
also
like
too, Bianca,
most of the politicians in
how did something
Washington are
shady
afraid
did
of
not
Donald
happen
Trump.
with this bastard?
They're afraid to oppose him.
Like I said.
So it could very well be an investigation.
Like I said, in general, how do you call genocide?
They still won't do nothing to him.
What did she just say? Stupid.
And that's more likely what's
idiot.
going to happen. Even if they do find something, they're not going to do nothing to Donald Trump, y'all. Let's be real. They're not going to do a thing to him.
I know it, and he knows it. That's why he's doing this shit.
Let him go on as
why
president.
we used to have social uprisings.
But y'all, tell me what you think. Let me know if you think something did occur. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And I'll see you on the next.
Frontline Black News, Lisa Cabrera. Now, with this crooked bastard being the crook that he is, him, Governor Bud, Governor Rolex, Governor Hot Wheels.
From a celebrity fucking reality TV show, motherfucking ex-fucking felon, motherfucking baby daddy, ghetto ass president, motherfucking shit talking ass bitch who can't back up shit that he fucking says of a president. What are we expecting?
I agree with you. See, sister, this is why we created the hashtag resurrection of the mental dead, because you got a whole lot of brain dead motherfuckers out here. Mac 285 is laughing at you, sis, saying, please calm down.
Man, say no. Ain't nothing to calm down about it. If you ain't feeling like I'm feeling, I'm going to need for you to step on the gas.
Oh, sister. Gas is getting high in the motherfucker out here today.
Step on the gas. Because this is something that we are supposed to be like this about.
Absolutely.
Fuck being calm.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck being subtle. Fuck being demure. Fuck being all of that shit.
Could you tell me what them words mean, man?
Unless these motherfuckers is going to show us anything that we actually just... Look, let this motherfucker usher in segregation. Let him do all that shit. Let him force
segregation yesterday, segregation today, and segregation tomorrow.
Because I promise you, it always backfires.
Well, look at the dumb bastard that you got up there running this shit. Well, he's not dumb. He's a crook.
If we unite now, if we unite now, we're smarter. So our segregation our segregation will not be destructed by integration this time around.
Okay.
Because we've already been integrated with you motherfuckers and we didn't want nothing to do with you after the fact.
Exactly. You see?
So this next integration, let him bring it in. Let him bring it in.
Okay. All right. Well, he's a crook.
That's when we can stand on our own. God damn it. I wish y'all realize that shit. Let me get the fuck off my brother's motherfucking shit. Here, get on the goddamn screen.
Damn, boy, it's never a dull moment here, folks. I tell you.
Never a dull moment at Frontline Campaign.
That was shit. Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, and please keep those cards and letters coming.
What I said.
Okay, sister, I believe you. We all know you tough. Okay.
Yeah, they were both done. They are both done.
Shit. Biden was a dumb bastard also.
We're going to get reparations. The only way that we're going to get them tossing any fucking dollars at us is if we show them we don't fucking need them.
You right. Hit them where it hurts in the pocketbook. You damn right. Produce
exactly. And tell them, if you're not going to give me shit, don't ask me for shit.
That's right. Now Cruz says that
you're
Biden
not
Harris
going to ask me for my fucking vote. You're not going to ask me for my motherfucking support. You're not going to ask me for my motherfucking outcry during a protest. You're not going to ask me for a goddamn thing.
Well, I agree with you, Bianca. Look at all them fools who was gathered out there in Los Angeles a couple of days ago. had
April
old
5th,
Bernie Sanders,
April 5th,
had
April 5th, we
AOC.
were supposed to sit the fuck out. You know what? How about this? For this next 365 fucking days.
Yeah.
Sit the fuck out of any motherfucking political, any motherfucking government, any motherfucking thing they got going on. Sit the fuck out of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. You will get no argument from me. There is no argument with undisputed truth. Only a fucking idiot will go out there and participate in a goddamn
Don't
rigged
you
ass
contribute
election.
a goddamn dollar to it online?
Exactly.
Nothing. Do you understand?
Right.
Because guess what? It's not our problem.
Yeah, and like 20 Pyramid says,
this is a problem they created.
Yeah.
Not our problem. Sit the
right.
fuck out and deal
simple.
with our problems. Let's make sure that we can sustain life. If these motherfuckers decide to go ziggity boom on each other, it becomes a family fight because they're all families.
Yeah,
all the
that
elites
is
are
true.
families. If it becomes a family fight, motherfucker, we're not included in it in the first place. Right. So let's just make sure that we're okay on the outside of it. That's
absolutely.
What we need to focus
the
on.
more reason for us to build our own
industry. That's what we need to focus on.
Oh yeah, build our own industries, build our own infrastructures, and fuck these motherfuckers.
Guess what? A house could be on fire next door to you. If you knew that it was lit on some political shit, you better leave it the fuck alone.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now, keep in mind, these individuals in the military have sworn to protect the Constitution, right? To protect against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
No. Guess what? They are the enemies. So why would they sit up there? They took the oath, right? And guess what? They're honoring their end of that oath.
Yeah. And
they're honoring their end of that oath, but they don't realize, nigga, it was never meant for none of us. Exactly. It was literally only meant for the 13 fucking families. 16 in total. Yeah, 16 in total. But guess what? It was only reserved for them. The judicial system, the fucking law system is all their guard dogs.
Yeah, exactly. You see? And then if there was any type of justice in this country, the only way that you are gonna get any kind of justice is if you leave them the fuck alone. Pretty much. You're not gonna get it from them. Exactly. Do you think they'll ever say I'm sorry? Ever? No. And if they do say I'm sorry, are they saying it the right way? They're just saying I'm sorry. Or are they apologizing like they apologize to everybody else by giving them reparations? If they ain't did it to us, all they're doing is saying sorry and patting us on the fucking back.
They already issued a formal apology. They just need to cut the goddamn check.
A formal apology is doing this. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm so sorry about that. That's all they did.
Yeah, you're right. Zippity doo dah, zippity day.
Everybody else, they had to prove that they were sorry too.
Now here's something for y'all.
Because guess what? The reason why they're not sorry about it is that means they have to tell the whole goddamn truth about what they did.
Which they ain't.
And they're not gonna tell you that my family is one of the original Native American families here. They're not gonna tell you that. They're not gonna apologize to my family.
Hey, now here's something else. Down there in the city of Los Angeles.
You see this banner in behind me? You see this headpiece in behind me? That is my tribe. Okay. I am indigenous.
Okay, but also
People
too.
don't believe people like me. And I don't look like Pocahontas because my hair is locked, but do you see how long this shit is?
Hey, but get this here though, sister. You're gonna love this one, y'all. You're gonna love this one here too, Jesse. Them motherfuckers went down there protesting in front of City Hall in the criminal courts building, right? Okay. Now, do you know how difficult it is to find a goddamn parking space down there? And I bet you dollars to donuts that half them fucking cars wound up in the goddamn official police garage.
Of course they do. People go and park for court all the fucking time, literally, and end up in more trouble leaving court than they were what they went in for.
Yeah, that's why
I think people go in for traffic tickets, come back out to a fucking traffic ticket.
No, they do. Now, here's the deal about the city of Los Angeles, city of Los Angeles, all them fucking cars that got impounded, right? So they went to the official police garage, and let me see, that would be Central Division.
How about this, Shabaka? Let's really look at this. Okay, let's look at how much the fucking police department makes each year off of seizures, fucking impounds, fucking stings,
planted evidence,
where they are like hitting cartels and all kinds. Think about how much money they see throughout that year.
You're right.
And then the fact that they still have to meet a quota with civilians.
Oh yeah. You see?
I have literally gotten a ticket on my car at 3:42 a.m. When I looked at the time that the ticket was issued, I said, bitch, you have nothing else to do with your time?
Yeah, I got about 5 tickets the last time I was in LA County like that.
Over license plates. And so get this, that just meant to me that he was trying to meet his quota. I know what it is. And so the fucked up thing is, think about the people that don't know. Think about the people that are so quick to be like, oh, I did wrong, let me just pay for it. Whether they know their actual individual rights and they can oppose it and everything else. They don't know these things. So, like I said, there's no way that any of these branches of the government can say that they don't have enough money for certain things. There's no way. You guys literally motherfucking rob the robbers and you rob the civilians.
Right.
How is it that y'all don't have enough fucking money?
It's called bullshit.
You got me fucked up. You guys are building this money because the elite need you to be their guard dogs. You guys got to be motherfucking amped up with new guns and all kinds. They have done this shit. DPD has gotten upgrades as far as vehicles, guns, plus they have local donations, all this shit since 2015. You understand? So you guys have millions that you're sitting on.
If not billions.
They have millions that they're sitting on. And you guys cut, mind you, you cut the funding for like mediators or anybody else who can stop a situation from escalating. Mental health awareness, all of this. You guys cut budgets on that. But you beef up your guard dogs. You beef up your guard dogs and you let them know they are not here to serve and protect anymore. They are only here to uphold the law.
And any statute that is so ambiguous that cannot be understood by the common person
If
is
anybody knew
not
where
a
the common
statute.
constable even came from, they definitely wouldn't trust police because they literally started off as slave catchers.
No, this is true. And then keep in mind, to quote the words of George Orwell, police guard, you are chosen for superior brawn and lack of intelligence. George Orwell said that in a book called 1984 that he
I
wrote
like
in
a
the
better
year
quote.
1940.
I like a better quote. You want to know what the quote is?
What's that?
Bob Marley. I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy.
Okay.
All
right. Okay. Yeah. So therefore, now the thing is,
I'm not gonna shoot the person who's only taking orders. I'm gonna shoot the person who's giving orders.
Well, okay. And what it is.
Oh,
okay. And what it is.
Amazon Prime, she can't watch it upstairs. Oh. No Amazon Prime upstairs, babe.
Now that's another crook. Your boy Jeff Bezos. He's trying to get rid of the U.S. Post Office. Fuck Jeff Bezos.
Okay. Elmo, enough. Let's move along.
Yeah. All right, so the dump did.
Where's the pretty kitty?
He's upstairs.
No chase with Brandy. He's, of course, with Brandy.
Yeah. Twin said that's right, sis. Michael Pan's in the building.
Democrats and repubs are complicit with insider trading and greed. Yep. Sir, there is no argument with undisputed truth because only a fucking idiot would sit up here and tell you that shit don't stink. I'm trying to tell you that it smells like roast.
Stop trying to look off, bub.
Yeah. All right, y'all. I'm gonna move us along. So the next topic is
the same way he was at the end of the couch.
Man, I'm mad as hell, man.
Social Security is collapsing under the dump.
Oh yeah.
Just an update on that as well.
Yeah, so therefore you're gonna have more homeless motherfuckers out there.
Keep crashing. And it's all because
washing dishes about what you doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Social Security servers keep crashing, and it's all because of Doge. Ever since they added some software that's supposed to check for fraud, the system has been crashing at the Social Security website ever since. And it has
Mr.
worse.
It's designed to
retirees and disabled people are now facing outages.
Can't be mad at the players.
And other access problems when they attempt to access their Social Security account and conduct business online. And they want more of the business to be done online. They don't want you to go to a field office, which I think is wrong. I think the field offices should stay because, you know, you got disabled and elderly people. They can't travel like that.
Right.
They should stay in place. So anyway, the website has crashed repeatedly for weeks. With outages lasting anywhere from 20 minutes to an entire day.
Wow.
Even when the site is back, many customers are saying they are unable to log in to their accounts. Or if they're able to get in, they're saying information is missing. For others, access to the system has been very slow, requiring repeat attempts to get in. The problem comes as the Trump administration cost-cutting team, led by Elon Musk, has imposed downsizing that led to 7,000 job cuts. And who did they lay off, y'all? They laid off people that dealt face-to-face with customers.
Yep, you done tweaked.
They laid off people that worked in their IT staff.
Yeah, stupid.
That knew the server and knew the website and knew how to bring everything back up. Those are the people that got let go. So the new demands from Musk Doge service include a 50% cut to the technology division responsible for the website and other electronic access. So in other words, they oversee the website and app that you can get in.
And that's why I don't fuck with apps.
Many of the network outages appear to be caused by an expanded fraud check system imposed by Doge. Now, listen, y'all, this is a software.
Bullshit.
They put the software on the server without testing it. And this is the end result.
Yeah, which is designed to fail.
Now, if you work in IT, because I used to work in IT, okay, you don't put anything on a server unless it's tested first.
Right.
They didn't test the software. They just put it on the server, and things have gone bad ever since.
Yeah. But Twin
So
says can't be mad at the player, be mad at the game.
Doge did not test the new software against the high volume of users to see if the servers could handle the rush. Technology issues that have been, alarming for some time for vulnerable Social Security customers. For almost 2 days in the last few weeks, for example, many of the 7.4 adults and children receiving benefits under the anti-poverty
I just have a technical difficulty.
Security income, they've been confronted with a barrage of messages. Now, they said they got hit with a flood of phone calls because these recipients received emails saying they wouldn't be getting their payments. So, of course, you see that in your email and you get SSI, you want to call and find out what's going on. Well, they got hit with a barrage of phone calls, and it turned out to be an error. See, me, I think that was a test run, but they claim it was an error. The checks still were deposited into bank accounts. So another breakdown disabled the SSI system for much of the day on Friday, prompting claims staff. So what they had were scheduled appointments, the staff did. And they had to cancel all of the appointments because nobody had access to the computers. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. I agree.
So they were not able
It's beyond
to
ridiculous.
enter
It was
new
planned this
disability
way.
claims in the system, blocking some already receiving benefits from accessing their accounts. Social Security response, this is somebody that Elon and Donald Trump put in. They were like, oops my ass. Anyway, now a national nonprofit advocate for the people with disabilities got involved. The group fielded dozens of phone calls last week from nervous clients who saw the inaccurate message and assumed that their monthly check would not be deposited. So woefully insufficient when we're talking about a government agency that's holding someone's lifeline in their hand. The disruptions are occurring as acting commissioner. This is somebody Elon Musk put in place. Leland Dudek and the Doge team moved to lay off large amounts of the workforce in a new phasing of downsizing. Thousands of employees already been pushed out, many in customer-facing roles, others with expertise in the technology system. At least 800 of the 3,000 employees left in the division that manages all of the Social Security database face layoffs. The newly named chief information officer, Scott Coulter, again, an Elon appointed person, said, they are going to do a 50% cut in staff. Well, if your servers can't stay up and people can't access their accounts, or when they log in, their information is missing, I would say you do need that staff. The network outages is just one blow customer service is facing. And this is happening simultaneously as they shrink field office operations. A surge of visitors to the website is overwhelming the computer system as customers, of course, are nervous. They can't look at what Elon said. Elon is trying to say people shouldn't be getting Social Security. And as he's saying this, people can't access their account. Of course, they're panicking. And Donald Trump is saying, oh, no, it's not going nowhere. But look at what's happening, y'all. They see how upset the public
bullshit.
is. And so I think they're still going to dismantle it. They're just going to do it quietly because they don't want the backlash as they're doing this.
Right. It's not a question if they want the backlash.
As all of this is happening, all of this is happening. Trump said that his administration will not reduce Social Security benefits. At this point, can you trust anything Donald Trump says?
Hell no.
So they expect it to get even worse, y'all, starting on April 14th, because the system, in order for you to access the system, you are going to have to use a new identification software to authenticate yourself online on Social Security website. So it's about to get crazier. And look, y'all, I have been on websites where you had to authenticate your identity and the stuff fails. It is definitely far from full.
All the time.
So anyway, we're just spiking like crazy. So others are saying the conditions have gotten worse.
I heard a lot of talk.
And, they are also saying that people are terrified that Doge is messing with our system. And it's the sheer massive volume of people that are freaking out.
I'm sure they out there.
So they tried to downplay it. The press went for a statement from Social Security, and they're downplaying it, saying the disruptions are brief and last about 20 minutes. That's not what the people are saying. The people are saying that it's anywhere from 20 minutes to an entire day. So anyway, the system was down most of Friday, this past Friday. And it was down also for a few hours on Monday. The system was back online, but the lingering effects were still there. While all backlog inquiries were processed, current and former officials said a system upgrade on Saturday in late March took several hours, longer than anticipated, to knock out the network.
Yeah.
So 3 times in the last 10 days, online systems and field offices that served the public crashed. And you know what they had to do, y'all? On
Yep.
Friday, when the system was down for most of the day, they had to cancel all appointments around the country.
Damn.
They had to cancel appointments
That's all.
because
That's a
nobody had
human rights
access to the
violation.
computer.
Police
And they had to book
can be
new appointments.
possible.
So employees said, this has caused a lot of problems, causing even more work for the staff, because as people are calling in, now they're trying to do everything by hand. So, and that is doubling and tripling the amount of time of their work. In other instances, even with the server being up, the online scheduling system still failed. And they had instances where they had people there and they literally had to leave the reception area after waiting to speak to someone.
Kelly Ray says systems go down all the time. Though.
Wow. The network crashes appear to be caused by expansion initiated by Doge of an existing contract with the credit reporting agency that tracks names, addresses, and other personal information to verify customer identities. The enhanced fraud checks are now done earlier in the claim process, which has resulted in a boost of customer volumes that have to pass checks. Well, you sure can't pass one if the system is never up. So the technology staff that did not, the Doge staff that did not test the software against the high volume, not only are they dealing with all these outages, there are connectivity issues and bugs that have expanded the system, has caused a portal that manages logins and authentications for many Social Security applications to go down.
Damn.
Wow. Because there are bugs in the system, it is causing the system where people would fill out their applications to apply for Social Security to go down. Wow.
Well, it's right, Lisa.
Wow. At a weekly's operation meeting in March 28th,
if they got to do it
was made public last week. Wayne Lemon, the chief information officer, he's a deputy for infrastructure and IT operations, acknowledged that the network crashes, have been going on for a couple of weeks. And he said that they would prefer not to have any outages. He said the outages were under investigation and may involve challenges we've experienced with a number of partners. Part of the problem may be that the outages have occurred during high volume use of the network. Oh, wow. All of this, y'all, caused by Doge. All of this caused by Doge. So this is an elderly woman from Upland, California. She says she was trying to apply for Social Security a week ago. It was one of her first attempts to visit the site and authenticate herself and identify herself. But she has not been able to get very far because of all the issues that are going on out there. She was not even able to make an appointment. When she clicked on make an appointment, nothing happened. So she finally called and reached an employee online, and they told her similar problems have become routine, forcing customers to wait on hold for hours.
Mm.
So even when you call, y'all, they getting so flooded with phone calls, you may literally be on hold for hours.
Mm.
That is absolutely crazy. Oh, that is crazy. Woo.
They're just talking
Y'all.
about how she's gonna be throwing ass over here in the
Another person said they tried to log into the Social Security website and nothing worked by last Monday evening. And this elderly man said he still has not managed to even be able to access his account to change his emergency contact person.
password. What are you talking about? I told you I don't have Prime upstairs.
So y'all, you know, I wish
Find something.
you had somebody with some damn sense that would listen and do something about it. But let's be real. Whenever Elon and Doge does something, Donald Trump stays silent. He don't stop them from doing nothing. That's how I know no matter how bad this gets, Donald Trump is not going to stop Elon. He's not going to stop him. Wow.
I was right, Lisa.
So, of course, people are outraged. And, you know, if you call now, you might not even get an answer.
Mm.
Or if you try to make a transaction on the website, you probably won't be able to do it. Massachusetts, they also reporting problems. So this would be nationwide, y'all. It would be nationwide, you know, and it's just more people saying, you know, they have disabled children and they wanted to go in to see what was posted on the account. Obviously, they must have got some type of notification that there was some news out there and they wanted to see it, and they were not able to access the website. But the IT staff and the people that normally work on these things, they got laid off.
Jeezy Christ. I've had enough.
You can't tell me this is not on purpose. You can't tell me it's not on purpose, y'all. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. And they said people are still panicking and still flooding.
Like, when are we going to see it for what
SSA with phone calls? And I guess they are. I guess they are.
Genetic genocide.
But to me,
what the fuck?
If you know this started happening more after
genetic preservation,
Elon and his team put the software for fraud on the server, why not take it off? Every piece of software you put on a server can be taken off. Why not take it off until it does work? You work on it until it does work, and then put it back on the server. Why let it stay out there? It don't say anywhere in the article where they removed the software from the server to work on it. Nope, not anywhere in the article. Y'all, please tell me what you think. This is beyond ridiculous. This is not no work of professionals. This is work of amateurs, for real.
No, Lisa Cabrera, it is the work of crooks. C-R-O-O-K-S. Crooks.
Wait, I was on mute, right?
No, I was on mute.
So everybody
we hear you, sister.
You were on mute?
No.
So everybody heard what the fuck I was saying?
Yeah, about the
well, fuck all you guys if you don't fucking believe me. I mean it.
No, they understand. NPD.
You mad at the world, sister?
Was hacked for every social security number in December 2023. Yep, that did happen, twin.
Yeah, and then keep in mind too, twin, you got a whole lot of stupid motherfuckers out here that enjoy just getting their heads bumped.
Why have faith in a system that's called a system?
Right. Right.
Because they enjoy getting their head bumped, sister. See, it's like a stupid motherfucker who bangs his head against the wall, and each time he bangs his head, this dumb bastard is expecting a different result.
Yeah.
Like, here comes my sister.
Kelly Ray said, "All I know is that people got to prepare to have backup plans."
Well, Kelly Ray, it is going to get worse before it gets better. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. Well, you're going to have the majority of the U.S. population living outside. Then
okay, well, guess what? Before then, if we have any sense amongst ourselves, we segregate.
You're right. But you're being a black racist.
Are we going to go down with the fucking Titanic? Or are we going to hop off the fucking boat and swim to shore?
Yeah, New World Order at full force, twin.
Get the fuck out of here. Fuck the boat. Fuck the people on the boat. Fuck the fucking musicians. Fuck everybody that's going down with the ship.
Right, like the Titanic.
Like I said, it's self-preservation that we're after, right? As a people. Hop off the fucking boat before it goes down. Why are you talking about how it's going down and how waves are coming up onto the deck? Get the fuck out of here. Hop off the fucking boat like you have some fucking sense.
But that's just it though, sister. The majority of these motherfuckers out here don't have any goddamn sense.
Well,
they sit up here
like this. Our topic should be very different on this show if we do.
Okay, that if we have sense, we got sense. You got sense.
Why are we still talking about a ship that's fucking sinking?
Well, anyone that is an American
we need to be tossing life rafts. We need to be tossing life rafts, if anything.
Yeah, to ourselves first. Fuck all these other groups.
On this show, that's all we need to be doing is tossing life rafts. Stop talking about the fucking ship that's sinking because we all know what's going down.
Oh, yeah, it's a damn replica of the Titanic.
This has been planned.
Yep. Yeah, this has been planned. They planned this bullshit 5 years ago.
I'm going to tell you like this. If we keep on talking like this, we're going down next to the fucking bass player.
Well, we can't do that, sister.
Well, then let's abort mission and get on our own shit, which is segregation and self-preservation.
You're right.
So why are we even talking about reparations, something that we know that we're not going to get from them right now? They are not fucking sorry for anything that they've done to us.
You're right. Now, here's what you do. Okay, let's look at the principles of boxing.
So how do you make a person sorry? You take all of the finance that you've offered in this whole 500 years away from them. That's all we have to do.
You're right.
You don't get to tell me that I can't do this, this, and that. No, you don't. Guess what? If you're not going to pay me for being sorry, don't you ask me for shit. Yeah. Don't ask me to come work for you. Don't ask me for taxes. Don't ask me for fucking votes. Don't ask me to help with protests. Do not ask me for a bitch ass thing. Because I can't ask you. Because I can't ask you.
Okay, Twin says he's been telling people he know person since 2010 to prepare. They all looked at me crazy. Well, who's crazy now?
I'm crazy
you right,
until
Twin.
I make sense, and so are you, Twin. I'm crazy till I make sense.
We are the people. That's right, Twin.
9 times out of 10, though, the fucked up thing about it is when I make sense is a little too late.
Well, Twin, who's we?
He's talking about the American citizens. He's talking about American citizens.
I thought he was talking about we. Oh, we as a people.
He's agreeing with you, shit. Exactly, sis.
I know, but exactly that's what I'm saying. Fuck all this shit, dude.
So,
well, the worst thing.
Do you understand that people of other fucking races, origins, all of that shit in Canada and France, when their fucking presidents and all kind of shit decide to get a case of the fuck around, their whole people unite and say, we're not having this shit. We will not do that here because there are too many people that have no problem with being in a prison cell as long as they have a duvet.
Well,
I don't give a
Black
damn if I'm
we
in
got
a
to do
prison
for
cell
ourselves.
as long as I have a comforter and a duvet.
A comforter and a what?
Duvet.
What is that?
Listen, I'm gonna need for you to go and Google that on your own, Shabaka. We are supposed to be educated on this motherfucker, and I need
okay.
You know what
so how do I spell it? I'm on Google. What is? How do I spell it?
D-U-V-E-T, duvet.
D-E.
No, D-U-V-E-T, duvet.
D-E-V-U.
Oh my God, here we go. D-V-D-U. D-U.
D-E-V-U.
D-U. God damn it, Shabaka. V-E-T.
Okay. D-E-V-U-T. Is that the correct spelling?
If you put a goddamn E where it don't belong one more time, is D-U-V-E-T. I bet you somebody gonna throw it out in the goddamn comments for your goofy ass. You keep on.
Name form.
Okay, it's a type of bedding. A duvet is a type of bedding that is typically soft, flat, bag filled with natural or synthetic materials such as down, feathers, or polyester. It serves as the top layer of your bedding and is usually enclosed in a removable
right? Which is comfy cozy. A person just wants to be comfy cozy in they cell. They don't give a fuck if they in a prison cell.
They just want to be comforted.
Okay.
Won't do that here until
They want their comforter and they duvet. They don't give a fuck if they in a prison cell.
Okay.
We don't even know our neighbors.
Nah, they got all this shit up here for sale. $309, $240.
And you're very right by saying we don't even know our neighbors. This is what I'm saying. They're really trying to make it like prison cells within your home. You don't even know your neighbors the way you're supposed to, like we used to.
Where I'm at, I don't want to know my goddamn neighbors. All these motherfuckers look like crooks.
What makes your prison cell more comfortable once you're home. You're not going to interfere with what's going on.
Well, this place I'm in reminds me of a damn
what's
prison
going
cell.
On next door might affect you.
Well, as long as they don't fuck with me.
This is why we have no sense of community anymore.
And integration.
Everybody want to say, oh, that ain't my problem. Let me tell you something. One person on my block starved. We ain't eating right on this block.
Right. That's right.
I will go and give my neighbors food.
That's the problem in America, Shabaka.
Because if one motherfucker on this block starved and I live on this block, we ain't eating right.
Right. All right, y'all. I'm gonna move us to the next topic.
Okay. I appreciate your compassion, but where I'm at, all these people look like moon creatures to me.
Oh my God.
And
well, that's because you decided to take your ass out to Vegas and near Area 51. You probably is looking at some damn shapeshifters.
That's at Nellis Air Force Base. They ain't gonna let you out there.
Probably is looking at Project Blue Beam bitches.
I wouldn't be surprised in the least, because these motherfuckers be on some, boy, I tell you.
They be on 2 and 3.
So suspected white
Yeah.
Nick Fuentes. We should be familiar with him by now, Shabaki. Nick Fuentes said this about Jason.
Okay, Kelly Ray says, very true, twin. She's headed to the country. Hell, the only thing I'd hear to head to is the fucking desert.
So Tariq,
Wait, who said what? Who said what? What you said? Who said? Was they talking to me?
Kelly Ray said, very true, twin. I'm heading to the country.
I'm telling you, we about to get the fuck up out of here.
These inner cities are cooked.
Yeah.
Yep, we gotta get the fuck out of Dodge and know when to do it.
Yeah, Kelly Ray, I don't think you know about life in the inner city.
And should she have to? Go on now.
She's in Milwaukee, Shabaki.
She shouldn't have to. Go on now. Don't do that.
No, she's in Beer Town.
Yeah, she's in Brewer Town.
Which means she know how. She a survivor girl like me. Don't you be talking shit.
No, I came up in the mean streets of Los Angeles.
I bet you can't out throw an axe on me.
Sister, why would I want to throw an axe at you?
No,
I said you can't out throw no axe on me. I'm very accurate as far as axe throwing. I'm a mountain.
Why would I want to throw an axe at you, Bianca?
No, I didn't say at me.
Why would I want to?
You can't beat me as far as being on target. I'm a mountain woman.
Only thing I can say.
I'm a mountain.
Do you know what shurikens are?
Of course, I know what shurikens are. I think that's some shit.
What are they?
Yeah, you know, act like you don't know no goddamn throwing stars, no throwing knives, no.
That's exactly what they use.
I throw axes.
Yeah, shuriken is a throwing star. You are correct.
Like I said, I just told you I throw axes. Of course, I've thrown other shots.
Oh, I'm scared of you. You throw axes. Oh, I'm scared of you.
Well, I'm a mountain woman. Don't be scared of me. Fuck with me.
All right, so Nick Fuentes.
No, I'm not going to F around and find out, sis. No,
I didn't say F-A-F-O. I said fucks with it.
So Nick Fuentes, suspected white supremacist Nick Fuentes, said this about Jason Whitlock.
With your scare ass. Look, he get a hold of a woman right there. I'm gonna have him riding a horse. He don't know what the fuck to do.
And by the way, you are a token. Hey, Jason, you're a token. You are in conservative media as a black guy that can confer upon white people the dignity of not being called a racist for having their views. That's why you get paid. And that's why I don't, because I didn't have the privilege of being born black. I was born white, so there's a limit on what I can say.
Right.
There's a limit on what I can say without being penalized in the so-called free marketplace of ideas. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows.
Hey, your ancestors paid that cost in the first place.
Especially in the conservative space, that blacks have had it easy. It is, and I don't doubt that he's a sincere person. I'm sure he's a sincere person. I'm sure he's genuine. But you are playing by a different set of rules, pal. You have training wheels on. You think you've earned it?
But he was right about
everything.
Man, see, I would have been on hit this motherfucker. You see what I'm saying?
Your employees, if
I
you
would have been on hit this bastard.
As a white person, your ass would be gone. And everybody knows that. You're on Blaze hosting E. Michael Jones talking about the. It's a good thing you're black, because if you weren't, you would have been fired like Elijah Schaefer. You would have been fired like every other white person. Everybody knows that.
Oh, but
Take
it's
a
okay.
good look at everything around you,
this?
because you did not compete
It's
to get that.
okay.
You got it because people feel sorry. People don't want to be called racist.
So
they feel
fuck
sorry.
you,
They need a black person
it's
and give them credibility.
We're just saying who we are.
If you can't see that, then you're just as ignorant as BLM. If you can't see that, if you can't be honest with yourself about that, you're just as ignorant as the marchers. As a matter of fact, you are as ignorant as the marchers. Just another ignorant crybaby.
But I did want to finish my point. that I was getting into. I got disrupted
versus butter biscuit
about how the white supremacists and the far right, they're trying to get away from the Sambos and tokens speaking for them.
This anti
They don't like it now. They're tired of having to pay a black person to regurgitate their racist talking points for them, because
that
they understand
motherfucker has
that
a
it makes them
raging
look
yeast
inherently
infection.
weak,
That's why
and they
he's
understand that the black people are doing it as a finesse.
A raging
You understand?
yeast infection.
They know that the black people are doing it for money. So if you pay me, I'll say whatever. And now it looks funny style, because what happens is
that's what they call a sellout.
Raging
and they'll pay
gonorrhea.
them to regurgitate white supremacist talking points. These same Sambos and Sambarinas, like Candace Owens, they get all this money and then they get a white spouse and then start having these black babies with these white spouses. You see? So they're elevating and platforming people who they're paying to circle back around and knock out them damn white genetics even more. So they're low-key realizing that they've been finessed to a certain degree.
Right.
You see?
What about Jason Whitlock, though?
That's why. Did y'all know recently Nick Fuentes, you know, a very well-known suspected white supremacist, he started calling out Jason Whitlock. Did y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Nick Fuentes kind of went in on Jason Whitlock.
Yeah.
They were kind of going back and forth, and Nick Fuentes kept it 100. He was like, yeah, Jason Whitlock is a token.
Mm-hmm.
He basically just kind of shields white people from being called racist, which is what we've been saying. Yeah, they know what his job is. So Nick Fuentes called Jason Whitlock out for being a token.
Now she want to charge the phone.
Now, why are they calling out their black tokens like this? Like Professor Black Truth says, when the white supremacists are done with their tools, they break the tools. So they're starting to break him already.
Yeah, it's charged.
You see, the white supremacists, they don't really respect their so-called black allies. They just use them. You see, and Fuentes and other white supremacists, they see Jason Whitlock. He's not a fellow.
If we honestly started seeing life the way that they do, we would realize it's this and not checkers.
White wife and white mother-in-law
the white supremacists, they start resenting the visibility of them. They don't want them to be at the forefront of their talking points. See, a lot of them, like the Nick Fuentes, they really believe only the white voices should lead at this point. Even if the Jason Whitlocks and these people, even if they echo the white supremacist talking points, they say they ultimately believe that black folks have no place leading any part of the conversation, even if it's anti-black.
And when he got checkmate, he hopped out the fucking game.
See, the moment a black conservative gains prominence, they look at that as a threat to white dominance.
Yep.
Again, you're empowering these people.
Guess what the checkmate
was? Knowing that deep down they really don't believe this stuff. They're just saying it because you're paying them. And see, a lot of these white supremacists, they understand that the Jason Whitlocks of the world, they're controlled opposition. You know, they look at them as like tokenized mascots propped up by mainstream conservatives who don't go far enough with their white supremacist goals. See, they think establishment conservatives are watered down.
Mm-hmm.
You see, they're mad. See, there's like a little civil war going on with the white supremacists.
Yep.
You see,
yeah, it is.
There's a little civil war going on with them, and they know that Jason Whitlock is the racial shield.
Yeah.
And see, that tokenism, they understand it undermines that white nationalist purity.
Yeah.
See, the Fuenteses, they always run around here talking about a white ethno state, white-only society. So even the people like Jason Whitlock, they share the anti-black views. His blackness is disqualifying.
Yeah.
You see? So you're talking about how much you want a racially pure society, but you need black people to speak for your ass.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad look for the mighty white
Well,
supremacists.
this is something we've always known. They've always needed us.
See, in the Fuenteses,
You
they see people
understand?
like
And that's the
Jason
reason
Whitlock and
why
other
when
Sambos
we
as obstacles to full-blown
segregated from them after
anti-black
slavery,
racism.
because we
See,
definitely
Whitlock, he can criticize black communities without being called
during that
racist.
time.
See, that
We
gives cover to
stayed
the
the fuck away
conservatives.
from them.
But see, for
We
people like
thrived.
Nick Fuentes, who
They
goes
were
to the
threatened by our
extreme with it,
communities. They
you know,
flooded
that
them
kind of
and
racial
burned them
insulation,
out
that
and,
prevents a lot of the
and
white supremacists from
created
openly attacking
genocide
black
within
people
that
the way
social
they
unity.
really want to.
Not only
They want to be
that,
able to do it
but then they turned around
themselves.
and they
just don't
forced
want to
us
have their
into
puppets do
integration
it.
and acted like they didn't like us.
It's about ownership of the message.
Bitch,
See,
you
they think
need
that white people should own and control the messaging instead of just making Candace Owens popular.
Right.
Some of the most popular people who
Ruby
spew white
preaches to the
supremacy
most,
are
and
black
at the
people.
same
Candace
time, you
Owens, the
know you
Hodge
treated her
twins.
wrong. It
Yeah,
was a fucking
they're
house.
making superstars,
And her
Sambo
aunt,
superstars out of these
whoever
black
the
folks.
fuck was cleaning you, you know you
And
needed
that's
that.
not the good look they needed to be. You know, you have to platform a black man or a black woman to do your dirty work.
Yep.
We've always
You
done
see?
the dirty work. Always.
And the thing is, they don't want no threat to racial loyalty. See, a black man siding with white supremacists, that's useful temporarily, but long term, they see that as dangerous.
If we can do that, do you know
see,
how
because
much
they fear any narrative that might convince other
in this
black
fucking
people
system
to join the conservative
and this
movement
nation?
instead of it being isolated.
Just stop
See,
fucking
here's the
with them
thing.
economically, socially, everything for 365 days.
They want a political
Can we
party
do that?
that's exclusive. Right now, there are a lot of black people who've kind of warmed up to the conservatives to a certain degree.
And
A lot of black people are warmed up to them.
stop celebrating holidays.
A lot of black people said,
we literally
Trump ain't
use
that
that
bad.
shit for
They
365
ain't really that bad.
days.
That's what a lot of people are looking at them now.
Can we?
So the Democrats are not scaring people with the Republicans like they used to, because the Democrats are just as racist. So here's the thing. Black folks are like, okay, well, let me see what the Republicans have to offer.
Nothing.
The hardcore white supremacists don't like
we're
that.
going to say we're not
They're like,
fucking
look,
with them, we're
these
not
tokens
fucking
are
with them.
useless now. Now black people are kind of coming over here. No, we can't have an ethno state of whiteness and you got black people coming over here. So these tokens are damn useless. All they're doing is just regurgitating the same talking points. They're one-trick ponies, and it's not really doing the job we needed to do. So that's why they're like, let's just break these damn tools and just go balls out with it.
Start growing 2 plants.
That's where they're
in your house.
It's a real interesting dynamic.
We have a barter and trade system within ourselves where we can go potatoes, onions and shit like that, things from our produce from each other, and then turn around and everything else we need, we're only buying black, and we're not celebrating any of these state issued holidays because they're not even like, for real. If we could do all of this shit for 1 fucking year,
right,
and stand on that shit as hard as we stand on it if somebody did something wrong to our family members, because they did.
Well,
but like let's say, you know what I'm saying, the way you would stand on shit for your sister, the same way that you would stand on shit for your mama, the same way you would stand on shit for your daddy. The same. If we could get people to stand on shit as hard as they do when it's their baby daddy cheating on them or something like that, and we actually put this type of plan into action for just 365 days, do you know what difference we can make?
Okay. All right, Shabaka, what's your thoughts on Nick Fuentes and what he said on Jason Whitlock, about Jason Whitlock?
Okay, well, there's a whole saying where I come from, brother. Never apologize of how you honestly feel. So Nick Fuentes is stating how he honestly feels, okay? Jason Whitlock, Butter Biscuit, another Tim Scott, Zippity Doo Dah, Zippity Day. We got to turn our back on those ass scratches.
Yep. I agree.
Let them
keep
talk
in
with
mind,
Babylon. Let
okay,
them talk with Babylon.
Okay, but hold on, no, sister. See, you got to remember, inside of every ass scratcher, inside of every coon, there's a black person dying to come out.
Well, guess what? In behind any ass scratching is an itch. And I'm going to tell you what the itch is. No, I'm going to tell you what the itch is. What itches my ass is motherfuckers sitting up there acting like everything is okay when they know it ain't.
Well, that's what we call a brain dead motherfucker, Sid. And this is why we created the hashtag resurrection of the mental dead, because you got a whole lot of these Negroes out here that are literally mentally dead.
Well, guess what? They don't know why they ass itch either.
Well, sister, that proves my point even further.
They a whole bunch of ass
because the motherfucker's mentally dead.
They don't know why it itch.
Right.
You don't know why.
I agree with you.
Nigga, for me, I'm sorry. If my ass itch too fucking much, I'm hopping in the toilet. Why
exactly.
Ain't nobody else trying to cleanse themselves when they ass is itching that goddamn much?
That's right. And like Red Fox said, you got to wash your ass.
Yep.
Which means you gonna have to face that your ass was dirty in the first place.
And that's why they got something called soap, water, bathtubs,
but guess what? There are too many of these motherfuckers nowadays that don't even want to admit that their ass is dirty.
Now that's sad.
They ain't hopping in the bath. They're gonna be like, I'm clean, but they still scratching their ass.
Damn. Now, what's this clip you got up here, Brother Che? FBA brother wants to know why Africans don't like us. Okay, is that Phil Scott?
No.
Well, I got one word to say about that. Neocolonialism.
I want to say her name is Emma. She's from Canada.
Africans don't like us because of the simple fact that they don't even truly know about the mental mind fuck warping that we had to endure here. So they're wondering what the fuck is wrong with us. Do you understand? No, they are wondering what the fuck is wrong with us because they don't even know mentally the psychological torture here.
No.
Well, you're right.
I'm trying to figure out. No, I disagree.
That's why I like Mary McKeeba so much.
They don't. Because when they are first coming in here, guess what? They even get videos showing them avoid these type of people. And
exactly that part, sister. Putting all bullshit aside, that part.
They don't understand the backstory as to why we are the way that we are. They don't know about our post-traumatic slave disorder.
Yeah. But I ain't
you'll get no argument from me on that. And then, of course, all this shit is part of neocolonialism.
They're not like us.
Exactly. They're not like us.
And they taught to hate us when they come to this country. What was that there, Brother Chair story? A couple of years ago. That they go through a whole indoctrination not to associate with us.
And then remember the one that said just came to take.
That's their only
exactly, yeah.
Here,
exactly. And that's why I appreciated the sister that spoke to that clown in Nigeria, where she told him if the civil rights movement, Jim Crowism was still going along, his ass would be subjugated to that too.
Hey man, look, how about this? If the Willie Lynch law was still going along, do you know how many white people?
Which it is.
No, do you know how many white people would be in that shit right now? They don't
with the Willie Lynch syndrome.
Willie Lynch syndrome. Yes. Do you know how many of them would be in it now?
Okay, well that's just it though, sister. When Willie Lynch did his shit in 1712,
they know that they got mixed grandkids. They know that they got.
Well, that's from the rape and slave trade and pedophiles. You see.
If they even shake a branch, a black person gonna fall out.
Well, That is from the raping, slave trading pedophiles.
And the FBA brother who wants to know why Africans don't like Americans, meaning Black Americans, but they love dope.
Well, I already said why, so go on and play.
Brother who wants to know what is it with Africans? Why don't you like Americans? Even when he tries to shoot his shot with an African woman, he tanks, and the African woman goes for one of the folks instead. Take a look.
Bro, I'm reaching out to the African community. Why don't y'all like us? Because when I be at work and I be trying to talk to the African people, it always seemed like they be like looking at me funny or side-eyeing me. And at first I was thinking maybe they just don't understand me that well. Maybe they're not well acquainted with the way we speak or something. I don't know. But somebody brought it to my attention that they just don't like African-American people. And I didn't believe it at first. But then I started noticing certain little things. One of my coworkers was like, if you notice, they always cool with the white people. They love white people. I'm like, no, I don't think it's that. Like, there's no way they like white people more than they like us. That don't even make sense. I never forget. I was walking down this long pathway at my job. It's like a long pathway. And I see somebody just running this way like super, super fast. And it was an African. And I'm sitting there watching this, and she's a beautiful African lady, like super beautiful. Like, but she running this way. I'm looking like, what's she running from? It's a white dude behind her chasing her, and they both just laughing and giggling. I'm like, ain't that the same girl I was just trying to talk to yesterday? And she act like she couldn't understand nothing I was saying. How's she having so much fun talking to this white man, but she can't be cool with me?
I gotta be honest with you.
Bad
wench. I don't get it either.
That's
I'm a
why,
Ghanaian,
bad wench.
and I personally don't have a problem with Americans. I actually love Americans, okay? I love Americans. I love the accent. I love the culture. I love the country. So I am one Ghanaian who has nothing but love for Americans, okay? But I do think that there's some historical context that comes into play with this ongoing, I guess, beef rivalry between Africans and FBAs, and I think a lot of it is misrepresented and misunderstood. So part of it is with delineation, right? That's one of the things that happens a lot with Africans who come to the United States, and then when they get there, they sort of have their own clique, their own area, and then they'll say things like, I'm not American, I'm African, and that creates a separation, right? And then on the flip side of that, there are a lot of Africans who come to the United States and they're called names like African booty scratcher, and they are said, things are said to them like, where's that bone through your nose, and so on and so forth. So I think oftentimes when Africans are insulted that way, they also take it to heart, and that causes some division as well. And so I think, there are a lot of moving parts, and some of them are also understanding cultural perceptions. For example, like historical context, the relationship between Africa and America is pretty complex. With a history of colonization, slavery, and cultural exchange, the history has led to a legacy of cultural differences, misunderstandings, and conflicts. And some of the cultural differences are different cultures that have unique values, customs, and practices that can lead to misunderstandings. And these differences can be rooted in various factors, including history, geography, and social norms. Media representation sometimes as well plays a role. The media can shape our perceptions of cultures, often perpetuating, stereotypes. And this can contribute to a lack of understanding and empathy between the cultures. I personally wish that we can all just get along and love each other, okay? We are all the same color, different shades, but we're the same color. We all bleed the same color. Can we not just try to find a way to not hate on each other? And then on the flip side of this brother's other comment, he mentioned that he tried to shoot his shot with an African woman, and she looked at him like she didn't understand him, but she was just, very open and perceptive to one of the folks. I will say this, and this happens in Canada as well. There is a group of African men that when they get here,
in life to be a
they
real nigga,
all of a sudden forget about the Black woman, and the one of the folks is just shiny and bright and interesting, and they end up with them.
What is wrong with
and I don't get it. I don't presume to understand that, but it happens here too.
All they're giving
And
you is degrading
what can you do?
in the
You
process.
can't force them. They love what they love. I just, in my humble opinion, at some point they will understand and realize
anything like that.
when they are reminded of exactly how African they are by the same people that they're trying to love on. Okay? But I hope some of this answers your questions. I feel like this is an ongoing discussion, and I would love for a group of Africans and FBAs to get in a room and let's have this discussion and settle this once and for all. Because I do think there's a lot of misunderstanding.
Well, all we're going to find out is one
My humble opinion.
enemy.
Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News app. You can grab it at your Google or Apple store, a platform by us, for us.
That's right, Shabaki. I almost called you Professor Blacc too. That's right, Shabaki.
If they put us all in one room, all they're going to do is find out that they've lied to us both. That's it.
Okay, but Sister Bianca, Brother Che, all this is what Dr. Marimba Ani calls the Ma'afa, a disaster so bad it is beyond description, and this shit is very disastrous.
Well, let me tell you something. Just knowing this based on my personal history, there have been because my great-great-grandfather was a part of one of the social or racial uprisings on plantations out here. Do you understand?
Okay. Yeah, and that's great news.
That being said, we will never know how many actually happened because they want us to stay a docile people.
Yep.
But there were slavery uprisings all the fucking time.
Yep.
There were whole plantations burnt down, all kind of shit. A family slaughtered, everything like that. Do you understand? That's honestly, like Abraham Lincoln said, he didn't agree fully with, but he also had to do what was best
to preserve the Union.
Exactly, to preserve the Union when he knew that certain Union members, slaves, had burned their shit down. Do you understand? So they saw how out of control our uprisings were getting. That was the only reason why they even said that slavery was illegal. It no longer profited them. It costed them when we were burning down these plantations and the acres and the families that died, and but the state like that because all that money was going back to them.
Okay, but you see, that's why, because see, the biggest industry that you had in the South, particularly down there in Louisiana, down there in Haiti, was sugar cane. And sugar cane.
It wasn't sugar cane, it was us.
Right.
Okay, but Sister Bianca, but one of the biggest industries was booze.
That they could publicly sell. They were selling us. Sexually, they were selling us. Like I said, that's where the term pimp even came from. They were selling us and prohibition liquor. Do you understand? It was prostitution and prohibition liquor that actually kept the country thriving in the early 1920s.
Well, just like what Malcolm X said when he spoke in Harlem. You can't get alcohol in here without the white man's permission. You can't get prostitution down here in Harlem without the white man's permission.
So that means that prostitution was ushered by them too. And that
you will get no argument from me.
Even now, in this society, pussy makes everything go round, right?
Well, so that's why they call them tricks.
That was their biggest form of money. Don't ever let them lie to you and say it was cotton or anything else. It was
I understand. And then to prove your point, even further, Sister Bianca, that's what Black Friday was about. That's where they'll take 12, 13, 14-year-old black girls and they'll put them up on the auction block for white man to buy them for their sons. You're right. Yes, ma'am. You are right.
It was sexual. Do you understand that? Look, people don't really realize what America is ran off of. It's ran off of sex, greed, and black magic.
Yep.
Well, only thing I can say about that is this. When you look at the history
sex, greed, and satanic rituals is what.
Okay, that's called barbarianism.
Thriving.
Okay, that's barbarianism. You're right. That is barbarianism. See, because the cave dweller is nothing but a barbarian. That's why he did not wash his funky, stinking, nasty ass.
Participate even 1%. We're giving.
Say that again now.
No, I said as long as we participate 1%. Do you understand? We are giving our energy to that shit. And that's what it feeds off. It's not anything that we do. This is way bigger than us. This is all spiritual.
Once again, sister, the Ma'afa.
Any energy that we give paganism.
Once again, sister.
That we give Satanism.
And everything you're saying is what Dr. Ani said is the Ma'afa.
Look like there's nothing wrong with the chicken and the little bunny rabbit for Easter.
Yeah.
Easter eggs represent fertility, which shows that it was satanic fertility rituals that even led that to be a holiday.
Sounds like Hollywood. Yeah.
It is Hollyweird. It's all Hollyweird.
Oh, yeah, it's weird as hell. Did you see my video I made from HB?
It's all Hollyweird. I've seen way more.
Okay, but did you see my video that I made from Hollywood Boulevard?
Tabaka, I used to literally sing backup for professional singers. I have seen way more than what I was supposed to.
I understand.
Way more
than
you could show me. I was a journalist who lost my press pass because I leaked an Illuminati training video. I have seen way more than what I was supposed to.
Okay. All righty. Okay.
What?
We on the same page, sis. I just lived in a raggedy motherfucker for 45 years. That's all. Shit. So glad to be away from Los Angeles. Don't know what the fuck to do. Shay, what happened to you? Earth calling Shay. Okay. Earth calling Shay.
My bad. Listen, hey.
What?
It's B stepping in for a second. My brother has to go upstairs and make sure that his wife is okay. So I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm here. But
all right. But everything you said about that satanic ass place in the city of Lost Angels is correct.
If we literally look at names, period, in general, for every place in the U.S., you will know the actual indigenous places and then the places that were colonized that they tried to name after places in England. There are only New Hampshire, New York,
New Haven.
No, you see what I'm saying? These are places that they tried to recreate here from England after being exiled.
Mm-hmm.
When they were exiled here, they honestly thought that we were going to kill them. Okay?
Well,
they thought that we were going to handle British dirty work, England's dirty work. Instead, we taught them how to live here. We taught them how
we
to
also
survive.
taught them how
When
to wash
they
their
wrote
nasty,
their
funky
notes,
asses.
No, listen. This is how we ended up getting colonized. They wrote their little notes back to Daddy.
Right.
Daddy, I'm still okay, and I'm living here. I hope you're proud of me. Daddy said, "Oh, really? Okay. So they didn't kill you. They didn't eat you. They didn't, because they thought that we were just savages. No,
right.
We weren't. We never were. We taught them, and then in turn, they turned around, and as soon as they got their dad's approval again, they were on Daddy's agenda, and they killed us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All righty. Drop knowledge.
Let's be real. If you look at the trail of slavery and look at the trail of tears, they fucking match. Which goes to show we are not all from Africa. We are from here. My family, I dead ass, I have all the fucking receipts. My family has been here. I am native. My family was probably who the fuck they saw on the shores.
My grandma was black.
Do you understand? I know who I am. And there's no swaying me or anything like that. Could no fucking 23andMe, no Ancestry.com fucking prove to me different.
No, fuck Ancestry. Yeah, don't waste your money with Ancestry.com. It's a scam.
Hell no, because I know. My great-great-grandfather was one of the only first black free blacks working in Mount Harris, Colorado, which was an all-black coal mining town before it became Steamboat Springs.
Yep, where you froze up.
So I'm going to tell you.
I've been to Steamboat Springs. That place was 15 degrees below zero, and I saw a damn waterfall froze.
Can't nobody tell me about my land.
Okay, now can I read a little bit of something?
Colorado is my land.
Okay, hold on, Sister Bianca.
Yep. Mexico,
okay, hold on, Sister Bianca. I just want to read this right here. Want to get your opinion on this. Now, this is from Skip the Truth Gates Jr. The history of the African American people in what is now the United States or the United States.
If it has anything to do with traveling from Africa, I'm going to ask y'all all this. Show me a ship.
Okay, well, I'm just reading what Skip the Truth Gates.
Show me a ship. One.
Okay, hold on, sister. Okay, hold on.
No, because white people even keep the smallest racist artifacts. Do you understand? They keep ears from us. They come on, shut the fuck up. You mean to tell me they didn't keep one fucking boat?
Yeah, we're both.
Okay, hold on, sister.
One fucking boat. How they brought everybody over?
Okay, hold on, Sister Bianca. Let me just read this right here. Okay.
Hey man, if it says anything like that, I'm gonna ask you. Show me a boat.
Okay, hold on. Just please listen. Let me just read a couple of paragraphs here, sister. The history of the so-called African American people in what is now the United States began in late August 1619 when the first cargo of 20 and odd Africans aboard an English ship called the White Lion landed in Jamestown, Virginia.
Where?
These
Where?
Jamestown, Virginia.
Okay. Where is the boat?
Okay, the name of the boat was the White Lion.
This was a historical boat to them because they keep their history. They keep their history. They make monuments over it. Where's the fucking boat?
Okay, but hold on.
Show me one fucking boat that brought us.
Okay, all right. This is what Henry Skip the Truth Gates is saying. These ain't my words. This is Henry Skip the Truth Gates.
All you see is drawings of what those boats look like and how we were laying and this and that. Do you understand? They're drawings. Yeah, we don't. Figments of their imagination.
Okay, but take that up with Henry Skip the Truth Gates. I'm just reading what this
I ain't taking it up with none of them. I'm taking it up with they descendants. Now, y'all want to talk all this shit. Where are the boats? Where are the boats?
What you would have to wait a minute.
Just show me one.
Okay.
Show me one.
You have to get with
y'all can show me one.
But you have to get with Dr. DeGruy on that one because Dr. DeGruy did have the ship law.
No, listen. The Ku Klux Klan should have been popped out with one. Just show me one. Just show me one vote.
Closet Queen Coots.
Just show me one vote.
By the Democratic Party, by the way.
Just show me one vote, bitch.
Okay.
Show me one. And tell me that that's where I came from. But you know.
Okay, this is what Henry Skip the Truth Gates is saying. This ain't Shabbat saying Corey saying this. This is Henry Skip the Truth Gates. These 20 Africans had been born in Angola. Angola. Her Majesty Queen Nzinga. Yeah. And how they ended up in Jamestown tells us quite a bit about the origins and nature of the slave trade to North America and its multinational, multicultural roots inscribed in the curious institutions from its very beginnings.
Hey, then I'm not trying to disrespect nobody. I'm not trying to disrespect nobody, but what if they only picked up 20 hookers and brought them here? Fuck you, motherfuckers. Man, you got me fucked up.
Woo, okay.
But not one fucking ship. Not one, bro. Not one to show us that slavery really existed.
I just want to read. I just want to read. Okay. This is Henry Skip the Shabaka saying, Corey. Now, he said they ended up in Jamestown and the origins and nature of the slave trade in North America and its multinational, multicultural roots inscribed in the curious institution on the very beginnings.
Let's be real.
And they were from Angola. He was saying that they were from Mutamba because the real name of Angola is Mutamba, and that's where her mother went up against these bastards for over 50 years. These 20 Angolans was captured either in military campaigns in 1618 and 1619. Okay, that's 300 years after Nzinga. Led by the Portuguese governor of Angola, Luis Mendes del Vasconcelos, in the highlands between the Kwanzaa and Lukala rivers, or in a civil war in the Kingdom of Congo between King Alvaro II and the rebellion Duke of Mbamba, Pedro de Silva. Okay, these are Spaniards. Okay, Spain. Okay, both Angolans who would have sold their captives to the Portuguese. The historians John Thornton and Linda Haywood conclude that 90% of the 12 and a half.
Why aren't they bringing up Kempavita? Because they had to go up against her too.
No, Nzinga died in 1585.
No, I know Kempavita was after her.
Okay, who?
Was after Nzinga.
Kempavita.
What was the sister's name?
She was a warrior queen. Kempavita.
Yeah, that was Nzinga. Yeah, that was
No. Nzinga. It was after Nzinga. Kempavita.
Okay, so then Okay, so then this is one of her descendants then. Okay, so she took on the traditions
She wasn't
of
even
her
a part of the
foreparent.
same tribe. They were literally both queens, and they were battling and fighting off the Spaniards that were on their borders.
Okay,
and,
which would be
and the Portuguese.
okay, which would be the Portuguese.
Kimpavita defeated hers. Why do they only bring up Nzinga? Because she was defeated.
Okay, well, hold it. Sovereigns such as Queen Nzinga Mbande, the monarch of Ndongo and Matamba.
Google
Don
Kimpavita.
Garcia.
Google Kimpavita and see if I'm lying.
Okay, wait a minute. Jamestown Silver Man. Okay. All right, so we got a contradiction here. Okay, because see, this is what I mean by this bastard skip the truth Gates. Okay, because this motherfucker say that they were Angola to Jamestown.
That's what his story is. Just his
say, but in
story.
actuality, they went straight to Brazil. Okay, because Brazil was a Portuguese colony too.
His story
from Africa went to Brazil.
But I'm gonna tell you like
Only
this,
a small
Kimpavita.
percentage.
Yeah, because Brazil is due west. Wait a minute, it's due west of Angola.
Yeah.
A lot of Brazilians that ended up in motherfucking Brazil migrated before they were ever taken. Let's be real.
Okay, well, sister, I'm just reading what Henry
they
Louis
were a part of the Chinese Silk Road. Let's be real about this shit.
Yep, the Silk Road.
They were a part of the Silk Road.
Okay, but Bianca, only thing I'm doing is I'm just reading what Henry Skip the Truth Gates says. Okay, and this motherfucker skips a whole lot of truth.
Fuck his story.
All right, let's talk about our story.
I'm telling you, Kimpavita.
What?
Held down so fucking much.
Okay, all right. How do you spell this person's name?
Kimpavita. Kimpavita.
You gotta slow it down.
Kimpavita. Vita.
Yeah.
Kimpavita. Okay. Congolese prophet is what I got right here. Okay. Kimpavita, Wikipedia, Donna Beatrice Kimpavita, also known as Kempa Mvita, Siempavita, or Tasimbavita, 1684, 1706, was a Congolese prophet and leader of her own Christian movement. Okay, that's the first fucking problem right there. Okay, because they took white man's scriptures. Okay? This movement taught that Jesus and other Christian figures were from the Congo Kingdom. Okay, the name Donna.
That's why she was trying to save her people from getting abducted for that.
Okay, hold on. Okay, the name Donna indicates that she was born into a family of Congolese nobility. She was later given the name Beatrice after the Catholic saint. Her teaching grew out of the traditions of the Catholic Church in the Congos. That's the goddamn problem right there. Now, just like you had pointed out there, Brother Che, just like you had pointed out right there. Now, what's bullshit, Twin Pyramid?
He's talking about what Henry the Truth Gates was talking about.
Okay, but get this. She rebelled even from what she was raised under. I don't give a fuck. You better read more into her.
Well, what happens is, okay, when it comes to colonization, okay, first comes in the missionaries, okay? Okay, first comes in the missionaries.
They bring in the merchants.
In the military.
And then
merchants.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes merchants in the military.
Yeah. It goes missionaries, merchants.
Well, Twin, if you say you've been here, period, that's on you, brother. Okay?
Been here.
You're a grown man. I can't tell you how to think. Okay?
We have been here, Shabbat.
All right. So
Only
Okay,
40.
hold on. We're not gonna
That's the
get on
only
that,
reason
brother
why I'm
Chad.
speaking on Kempavita so
Okay.
tough. Because I'm gonna tell you like this:
Okay.
if we know more about our unsung heroes, we'll know more where the fuck to go.
Okay. Now, brother Chad, you had stated, okay. Yes, I am, twin. You can speak for yourself on that one, sir.
Birthday.
Okay.
I don't know who the fuck
And then,
you
twin,
I am.
you're not gonna tell me what I am, and you ain't gonna tell me what I'm not, because I don't do it to you. Okay. Now, if you want to get up there and get with Uncle Sambo and buck dance, that's on you, brother. Moving right along. Okay.
And they're probably Native American, so stop it.
Yeah, well, Sister Bianca, take a trip with me to the city of Los
Your
Angeles.
people are probably
and
Choctaw.
let's go down there to Parker
Your
Center,
people
sir.
are probably Choctaw because the Choctaws were living there.
No.
He said he's Fulani.
I know because he took a ancestry test.
No, family members of mine have been doing that, and we got a hit on the Fulani.
Test and they tried to redirect your ass.
Well, only thing I can say about that is that my family is doing it, okay, and I'm gonna wait until they get the results, okay.
Well, why are you depending on white people to tell you where you're from?
I don't. That's just it, though, Sister Bianca. Like I told Brother Che, and maybe you didn't get the memo. I was at where the fuck was I at, Brother Che? You been? Okay, hold on, Sister Bianca. Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Okay, let me
be lied to.
me finish. Please let me finish. Okay.
You got a chance to be lied to. That's all I'm saying.
I asked the sister. Okay. Asked her if she was Fulani, or I asked her if she was Igbo. She stated that she was Igbo, and she said that if she was Fulani, that she would look just like me.
That I know that I am Haitian for one, and indigenous for two. And guess what? Fucked around and took a test, and what did they say I was? Fulani and Mende.
Really? Sounds like you and I might be related.
What about that?
No. Okay, hold it. And the Mende is where our man Joseph Sinkyu came from, who led a rebellion on a ship, and he did not sit up there and sing "I Got a Dream" with these nasty, stinking, funky ass people. He went and killed the motherfuckers.
Shabaka, show me the shit.
What?
Show me the ship.
Show you what?
Show me the ship.
Show me the ship that came from Senegal that landed in Alabama, Shabaka.
Show me the ship.
Show me.
You would have to, okay, here's what you would have to do to get these records. Okay, please listen and let me finish. I only need about 30 seconds. There was a sister that did a video on Facebook, Brother Che, about 4 years ago, I think when we was with Mile High News. And what she was doing is that she was showing the ship's logs of the British, okay, that went there to Africa, captured slaves, and came here to the Americas. Okay. Now me, I can't take no goddamn cold. Okay. Why do you think I stay out here in the desert?
I'm gonna ask you this, and I'm gonna ask everybody watching this and anybody else who this gets shared with. Can anybody provide me with a fucking picture of one of these ships?
Okay, you have to check the maritime bracket.
Goddamn, they said that there were so many
the maritime
Why can't we at least get a picture of one?
Okay, check with the maritime records, and plus that they wasn't taking photographs in the 70s. No, says I'm stating facts. They did not start taking pictures until the 1860s.
I know that I'm from here.
I know also.
Sister, only thing that I'm saying is, okay, I looked at these sources, okay, because we do our research now. You know what I'm saying? I ain't the most brilliant motherfucker
I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm gonna tell you this: if white people keep motherfucking Klansman hoodies as racist memorabilia, if they keep nooses as racist memorabilia, if they keep fucking buildings and statues and monuments of racist motherfuckers as evidence, as evidence of the racism, why wouldn't they keep a boat?
Yeah, where the boats at?
Stop the nonsense! Stop the fucking nonsense!
Were made out of wood. They deteriorated.
No, fuck that. These motherfuckers got wooden teeth. These motherfuckers got wooden teeth that motherfuckers used to wear as dentures in motherfucking museums.
Twin, yeah, the truth hitting you hurts, don't it, twin?
You're not going to use that as an excuse.
Ma'am, I'm merely stating
No,
facts.
I'm talking about the wooden ones that they were making before they started
we'd have to do. Hold on a second.
Do you understand? Do you understand? They're too racist and too arrogant not to keep that shit.
How would I?
They're too racist and arrogant not to keep that shit.
Records.
They would have kept it preserved. They would have kept it preserved. They would even kept a piece of the boat. Do you understand? They ain't kept shit.
Okay.
Because it wasn't true.
Sister Bianca, hold on. Okay. All right.
One fucking boat. Just show me one.
Hold on, sister. To get maritime records of ships from the
that
1600s, you can search free ships passenger lists
from
1600 to 1630. You can check passenger list of ships coming to North America from 1607 to 1825.
Do you understand?
Explore early 1600 passenger lists and ships transcribed by Annie Stevens. Look into port books recording customs duties paid on goods imported and exported through English and Welsh port.
Because Jesus was the first boat.
Okay, hold on. Check Navy maritime records at the National Archives in Washington. Okay, there's your first.
Oh yeah, because they have those because they're so honest.
Yeah.
Because they're so honest, Shabaka. What the fuck are you looking for?
I just told you, sis. I just Googled this shit.
You sound weird as fuck doing it.
Yeah.
You sound weird as fuck doing it.
Sis, I just
read the shit. They're not honest enough. And you need to tell me.
Don't take it out on me. Take it out on the motherfucker that wrote the shit.
No, I'm taking it out on you because you actually believe the shit.
Sis, as brain dead as these motherfuckers
goofy
is,
ass.
with these
You know goddamn well if it was really real, they would at least
ass scratching ass niggas.
There would be a white woman right now cleaving on to a piece of the boat.
I'm sorry, sister. I don't chase white women.
We'd be holding it just like this.
No, I don't chase white women. I ain't gonna give them the pleasure. Please bring back slavery. If that was bring back slavery.
I said bring back slavery. There would be a white woman clutching a piece of the boat if that was the case.
Well, sister, the only thing I can say about that,
don't no goddamn boats because it never fucking happened. That's why they beat us to where we couldn't even fucking read or write.
Well, we had our ways of reading and writing.
It was because it wasn't true.
They didn't do that to
it wasn't true.
Hold on. Okay, hold on, Bianca. Hold on.
Do you know how many native tribes of us that there were here?
Okay, the name of the book, twin, is called Life Upon These Shores by Henry Skip the Truth Gates. I just read the fucking book. If it's bullshit to you, twin, don't take it out on me, homie. Get in touch with this motherfucker. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, so then why even refer to him if nobody even sees him as credible?
No,
don't
but what it is,
though,
but sister, in these miseducation, indoctrinated senders, they got this motherfucker as the leading scholar. Me personally,
we're not going to refer miseducation. That's what we're not going to do.
What's that, sister?
We're not going to refer.
Whatever he wrote.
Well, Uncle Sambo ain't credible either.
Nobody's referring Sambo. But what I am referring is real fucking thoughts. And if ain't nobody else thought about it tonight, before tonight, they gonna think about it after tonight. Where are these fucking boats? Where are these fucking boats? Where are these fucking boats we got brought in on?
Check with Dr. Marimba Ani, and they just said check the U.S. Naval records. The maritime logs. That's in D.C.
No, Shabaka. No. We're talking about actual boats that still exist.
There's not.
Where are they?
And I promise you, if it was racist enough, they would keep it as an artifact.
Yeah, they sure in the hell would.
Okay, hey, get with Dr. Marimba Ani on the mouth.
No, I don't need to get with none of that shit. You want to know what I know?
Okay.
Is that it never fucking existed, and the Trail of Tears matches up with the route of slavery.
Well,
You
sister, I got news for
do the
you.
math. Do the fucking math.
I did. Okay, I crossed the little bighorn. Them goddamn natives and said, "Hey, brother, welcome." They say, "Nigga, why did your people fight against our people with the white man?"
Which one has more proof? Which one has more proof? The Trail of Tears and the route of slavery, or the fictitious tale that we were brought over here from Africa? Which one has more evidence? Which one has more evidence?
For me personally, I got the evidence that we were brought here. I just showed it to you.
Shabaka. Which one has more evidence?
Henry Clark. Get with Dr. John Henry Clark. Get with Dr. Marimba Ani, sister.
No,
that's all I'm saying. I've been saying that shit for the last 12 goddamn months up here.
All those people that you named are Pan-Africanists. They don't have that information. Where are the ships?
Period.
Check the maritime logs.
Oh, because that was there. Because they're honest.
You think they really kept honest logs?
Bruh, when it comes to us, these people hate us because they cannot.
Which is all the more reason why they didn't tell the truth.
It's a yes or no question, Shabaka.
Well, like the Native American said, the white man speaks with a forked tongue. Now, what creature has a forked tongue?
We are the Native Americans. Stop.
Well, like I said, I'm a diasporic African, okay? Every goddamn time I get stopped by the Los Angeles Police Department, what we got right here is a male nigga by the name of Shabaka Sankor.
That doesn't prove that you're a diasporic African.
Sir, let me put it to you this way. I'm not no goddamn American. How about that?
Well, guess what? You don't know what your name means in Native American. Do you know what Shabaka means in Native American?
It don't say Fulani. It don't say Senegalese.
And guess what?
It don't say
Shabaka doesn't mean shit in Senegal. So you might want to realize that you were named under Native Americans.
It says the name came from Mali, not Senegal.
Okay, well, guess what? What does it mean?
We need Dr. Kwesi. Let's reach out to Dr. Kwesi. Let's reach out to Dr. Kwesi. That's all I'm going to say. Let's reach out to Dr. Kwesi.
Okay.
Answer the questions for yourself because we're talking to you about yourself.
But we asking you though, Shabaka, where are the logs of the ships? Where are the ships? There's no ships.
Sir.
Where are the ships?
Would deteriorate. Okay. Also to check the maritime.
No. How about this? You're talking about they deteriorate.
Did the Amistad exist?
Let me tell you something. They keep their artifacts. Yes. They keep them.
Where are their artifacts?
Do you understand? There are motherfucking shit from 5,000 years old that they fucking varnish. They make sure that they keep that shit. They would have at least kept a piece of that fucking boat if it was the truth. They never kept any of it because it wasn't fucking true.
Okay, sis. Okay. These white folks will sit up here and tell you that every Christmas a white man comes down your chimney to give the kids gift.
Can you refer
That's
to someone
Satan.
that's not a Pan-Africanist?
Who believes that? Nobody.
Everybody that you keep naming are Pan-Africanist. Is there
Who believes
anybody
that?
that you can
Nobody.
name that's not a Pan-Africanist? Everybody that you keep referring to is a Pan-Africanist.
And guess what? They probably even at this point would agree with me more than they are agreeing with you. I have proof.
I could care, Bianca. I could care the fuck less if the motherfucker agrees with me or not, because I know what the fuck I know. Now, if those who
what do
choose
you
to
know?
be ignorant,
What do you know? What do you know? What do you know?
Ask me a question of what I know. Ask me a
I
question of
just
what I know.
asked you where are the fucking ships.
And I asked you.
They got them in the ship's logs. Go to Annapolis, Maryland. Go to the goddamn slave ports of Charleston, South Carolina. Go to the goddamn slave ports of New Orleans, Louisiana.
In the museum.
No, they don't. They don't.
The question is, do they have the boats in the museum?
No, they don't.
Can you go to one of these museums
and find a slave ship?
Logs are at?
Can you find one slave ship here in the U.S.? You cannot.
Where the logs were.
No, you said Annapolis.
You cannot find not one fucking slave ship that is still intact.
Annapolis, Charleston.
Okay, hold on. So you telling me that the transatlantic slave trade did not exist?
I am gonna say that it wasn't transatlantic. It was domestic.
Well, like I said, can you take
it
coal?
Was domestic. Literally, they were only moving people on slave ships.
Can you take coal
here in the U.S.? And the only reason why they did that is because if they would have did it on land,
Caucasians walking snow in shorts. I can't take no goddamn cold. Hell, it gets colder than 50 degrees. I'm freezing to death.
Did you hear what I just said?
What did you just say?
The only reason why we were on slave ships was domestic. And they only did that here.
You faded out, okay? Could you repeat your last statement?
The only slave ships that we were on was domestic, and that was here.
Okay,
and the
let me
only
ask you
reason,
this question.
Let me finish. Let me finish. The reason why is because they did not want for us to know. If we would have been on land and they would have transported us that way, we would have known how to leave.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Going back to Dr. Charles Drew. Okay, let me ask you a question. If a Klansman was laying in a goddamn emergency room and needed a blood transfusion, would you give him one?
What we're asking, though.
No.
This has
no.
No.
I just answered the question. No. Fucking no. No, I wouldn't.
Check this out. You all have a nice night.
I'm not a blood donor, so I can honestly say that. Fucking okay, whatever.
He won't even let us. He won't even answer the question.
No, and guess what? I'm not donating blood to a racist.
No.
And honestly, if anybody else can go on and comment, let me know where we can find any fucking slave ships.
Right, where's slave ships?
Not just one, or a piece of one. Held by a racist son of a bitch. Something. Let me know that you actually have a transatlantic motherfucking piece. What? Do you have a piece of the Mayflower?
Nope.
Shit like that. If you don't, then like I said, it was all a false fucking narrative because they were enslaving us here and they were kidnapping them there. I rest my fucking case.
I agree. All right, I'm gonna move us along. So we got Professor Blacc Truth, classic from 2 years ago, combating the traitor class. So how we deal with these goddamn traitors amongst us?
How we do? Don't. How about that? Look, I can give us a real quick summary. Don't deal with them. What the fuck do you mean? Don't. Can we move on to the next subject? Because I solved that really quick.
I'm gonna actually put a clip though.
Okay. Just don't. Don't do it. Fuck Nike. Don't do it. Okay? Not just do it. Don't do it.
You're taking on power. You're not fighting. You're people who play role-playing games or who read certain kinds of fiction are familiar with terms like warrior class or intellectual class, but I want to resume my video postings by getting us on code about the traitor class, because we do have one, and it's anything but a game. Now, you have some people from Africa who try to claim that they're part of their tribe or ethnic group's warrior class, but ain't nobody over there been fighting white supremacy for the longest time, so at best, they're the bickering class. Unless you're taking on power, you're not fighting, you're just quarreling. And another thing, class is not genetic. All you have to do is look at Dr. King's family to see the proof of that. Dr. King was part of the philosophical class, but look at his kids. About as strong as a puddle of mud and about as smart as a sack full of hammers. Just because your father or grandfather was a great philosopher or a warrior, even if they came to be the embodiment of those characteristics among your people, that doesn't translate to you. Everyone must earn the right to be called a thinker or a warrior. But we must also recognize that there are groups in every setting who are waiting and ready to sell their people out. Now, these traitors within the traitor class, they don't brag about it, but they don't have to. Actions speak far louder than words. Now, when that bullcrap Harriet movie came out, we in the black media spoke on it. And when I told you that the so-called producer of that movie was having a Q&A at a university in Texas, some of you showed up to give her your own personal review of that movie. That producer, by the way, she's been laying low. Cynthia Erivo likewise, but white power has tons of resources. They always have some other fools and bootlicks and crash dummies who are willing to get out there and pick the cotton for them. And they've got more than enough money to keep putting up this propaganda, regardless of whether it makes a profit or not. And so we see this movie, The Woman King, produced and written by white women largely. I'm going to need my people to be a little bit faster on the uptake to recognize when it is the white people are laughing at you. To understand the white supremacy, they love a joke that takes a long time to pay off. In fact, they love it best of all if you're the only one who's in the dark and you stay in the dark. That way they can just go ahead and have a good chuckle at your expense for the rest of your life. Now, of course, there's been a lot of controversy about this film, and rightly so. The first thing to remember, that a minority of Africans actually collaborated in the slave trade. And when the invaders come into a particular land from wherever they come from, they face opposition from the vast majority of the people that they're trying to colonize. But if the invaders can get a few turncoat natives to help them out, then that acts as a force multiplier. So before you have any white supremacists who try to push the lie that, see, all the Africans were involved in the slave trade. See, the Europeans, they were just victims of circumstance. Those mean old Africans, they made the Europeans take them as slaves. When they try to hide behind this movie, which is exactly what it's meant to do, you make sure to demand that those white supremacists show where all of the Africans were involved. See, this is the white media trying to use gender as a shield to hide behind. Why? The slave trade was the Africans. That was the Africans doing it. The Europeans are exonerated from all responsibility. And they're going to be saying, well, here's some black women who are trying to stop it. They can tell you right now, that was not happening at all. Not in that group in the Dahomey, they weren't. They were not stopping anything. I say that simply as a preemptive, don't even try the everybody was doing it crap, so the Europeans weren't responsible for their own behavior. The Dahomey people were knee-deep in the slave trade. Tariq and others have already talked about that, and all of us should know that. That should be basic for a lot of us. And this, however, is who this movie is making stars out of. Some of the worst perpetrators who betrayed the African people, and this is who the white media choose to put tens of millions of dollars into making a movie to lionize them and make heroes out of them. Like some sort of backward half-brain version of 300 or something. And of course, just like Harriet, they make sure to have a black woman as the director of it. She's going to be their crash dummy. Gina Prince Blythewood is biracial. Her mother was white and her father was black. She was then adopted by a white man and his German Latino wife. I'm not making that up. You got a biracial woman who was later adopted by a white man and his German Latino wife, and I think she's even been quoted as saying that she has, or at least in the past, had identified as Jewish. And while we're on the subject of adopted Black children, yes, that is Charlize Theron, who showed us what happens when white supremacists adopt Black children. Charlize Theron put her adopted Black son in a dress and then claimed it was all his idea. I'm sure you can see a pattern forming. So this is the woman who directed this movie, and this is the company she likes to keep. Now, do you think that this Blythewood woman identifies with us at all? Now, this Woman King movie was produced by TriStar, which is currently being run by Nicole Brown. Here's a picture of Nicole Brown with her white husband and some of their children. So you got a lot of biracial, light-skinned, and white women who are behind this flick. Notice that? A whole lot of people who identify with white power a lot more than they do with Black people. Now, of course, as far as this Blythewood woman is concerned, for her, this is all about climbing the ladder of Hollywood. This is about trying to find some project that hopefully doesn't crash and burn, because that crap that she made with Charlize Theron, that thing died over opening weekend. That's the game that she's playing. And it's no different than our pal Agent Duvernay, who used to be a big fan of Harvey Weinstein back in the day. That is, before he got into all that trouble and he was no longer in a position to offer her a job. Now all of a sudden she doesn't want anything to do with Harvey Weinstein, never heard of the guy, and oh, he's the scum of the earth. Yeah, because he's not in a position to offer you a job anymore. And of course, you got the white media who's attempting to flood the zone with puff pieces lauding this stuff. They're trying to talk it up, but it ain't getting them very far at all. IndieWire is just one of many, many pathetic examples. In their garbage, they actually decided that they were going to be attacking people on Twitter. Keep in mind, the people who you're attacking on Twitter, these are the main ones, the primary ones, who you would be expecting to actually go see this movie. And instead, what's happening is you got the director and the white media saying, well, those people don't matter. You can't win an argument on Twitter, probably not, but you can lose audiences on Twitter. You can definitely lose that. And this white woman who wrote this IndieWire piece, she actually had the nerve to write the fervor over the film's perceived inaccuracies. Perceived inaccuracies? So the producer, the director, and the screenwriter of this Woman King movie weren't the only ones who couldn't be bothered to read a history book. They weren't the only ones who were too lazy to actually read. Apparently, Kate Erbland and the rest of the folks over at IndieWire, they're also a bunch of functional illiterates too. This is not a matter of perceived inaccuracies, it's a matter of historical fact. There's no perception here. Either you can read or you can't, or rather, some people find it convenient not to. And this Erbland woman, she wrote that Viola Davis's character tried to get the king to stop the slave trade, and says, well, it's not just mentioned in the film, it's a large portion of the drama of its story. Yeah, apparently not too much of a large portion of the drama, because that's not what the marketing has been centered on. But when people boycott a film, presumably without seeing it first, that message is lost. This is how this white woman talks about Black audiences, because it's Black people who are the ones who are saying, hey, we see you, we see what you white studio folks are up to, we see what you guys are trying to do, and this is what they're saying. You just perceive that there's inaccuracy here. You need your betters to inform you that there's nothing inaccurate here, and you shouldn't be objecting to it. Why? You haven't even seen it. You know what? I've never seen the movie Birth of a Nation. I'm talking about D.W. Griffith's movie, not Nate Parker's movie. I've never seen D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation. I've never seen Song of the South. I've never seen Gone with the Wind, but I'm willing to bet you there's nothing particularly edifying or anything at all that's constructive towards Black people about those movies. So when you see the IndieWire and the rest of the white media attacking Black people for calling this movie's garbage out, they're not doing it to protect this Blythewood woman or Viola Davis. They're crash dummies, nothing more. That's the reason why, just like with Precious and all the other agitprop against Black people that Hollywood puts out, they make sure there's a Black person who's going to be out there taking the slings and arrows. They're going to have this Blythewood woman's name out there. Maria Bello and that Schulman woman and that Stevens woman. They're going to make sure that the white women who are involved, they're going to be in the back, way in the back. We're going to have Viola Davis out there on the red carpet. She's going to be the one having to fend this stuff off. We're going to be having this Blythewood woman out here, our biracial adoptee. We're going to be having her out there. Ain't going to be these white women. They're going to be hiding somewhere. This is about protecting the white people behind this racist propaganda. White people dreamt this up. 2 white women wrote it, a white woman produced it, a white studio put the money behind it and promoted it, and the white media is attacking black people for calling it out. Of course, the white media is going to big up this movie. It suits their agenda. And don't let the white media try to con you into thinking that there was some sort of victory at the box office for this movie. That's the last thing this was. This summer has been dead at the box office. I mean, D-E-A-D, dead. There's no blockbusters debuting this summer, no big name flicks, no summer spectacles. The Marvel comic book movies debuted earlier this year, so this summer of 2022 has been a vast wasteland at the multiplex. There's been no competition this weekend, by the way, either. All week competition. This movie should have run the boards if it was any good. And before you let the white media try to hype this thing as being some sort of W, consider this. Remember that god-awful comedy Girls Trip from 5 years ago, that Tiffany Haddish, Queen Latifah movie? That movie made $31 million its opening weekend. The Woman King made about $19 million. That's 2/3, less than 2/3 of what a Tiffany Haddish movie from 10 years ago made. And if that anemic opening for The Woman King sounds familiar, it should. Harriet opened with a mere $11 million on its opening weekend, and by the time it was finally yanked from theaters, all it managed to make was a merely $43 million. Even on a $17 million budget, it's safe to say Harriet didn't earn out. And the picture for The Woman King becomes even bleaker when you consider that the white studios threw $50 million into making this turkey. Yeah, $50 million. So they had high hopes for this one. They were hoping that it was going to bring in some Black Panther kind of money, get that Black Panther audience. But it seems the black audiences weren't as stupid as the white studios need them to be. $50 million, that was the production budget for this movie. For those of you who don't know, in Hollywood, a movie has to make 3 to 4 times its production budget just to break even. Not to make a profit, but merely to recoup its production and marketing costs. Hollywood conveniently leaves out this little factoid whenever they're trying to convince the public that a movie that bombed actually made some money. Oh, they'll talk about it being #1 on opening weekend, but they never mention it again after that, because it's after opening weekend that you find out whether or not the movie's actually going to make a profit. #1 at the box office is easy, especially if it's during a weak time of year, but if it's a weak time of year, chances are nobody's really going to the box office like that. This movie cost $50 million and it's debuting with $19 million. This movie is never going to be able to make more money than it's going to make right now this weekend. It needs to make back at least its production costs just to have a chance at breaking even. And it hasn't. So forget about breaking even. This thing won't even make back its production costs. So IndieWire can whine about black people dogging out this movie without having seen it, but judging from the box office, we're not alone. A lot of black people decided to skip this movie. By the way, on a side note, if you have a movie that you want to make money, pro tip, don't insult the people who are most likely to see it. But hey, what do these white reviewers care? This isn't about making money. It's about pushing the propaganda. Now that we've skewered the production and showed that it's a failure, we can get the obvious out of the way. This racist propaganda takes one of the traitors who are collaborating in the slave trade and tries to elevate them to the level of heroes. You're going to make freedom fighters out of the slavers. And they're going to be wrapping up this anti-black message in a thin patina of strong and independent black womanhood. Because that's what they're doing here. This is meant to be programming. If you thought the Black Panther was a letdown, you thought you had problems with that one, you ain't seen nothing yet. Look how quickly the white media went from getting you to cheer for Wakanda, a non-existent African country who did nothing to stop the slave trade, to now wanting you to cheer for actual African traders who actually took part in the slave trade. Once you accept what the white media tells you, you'll find yourself nodding your head with everything that they tell you. You'll find yourself nodding along with all kinds of nonsense. So you have the gender warring piece and the glorifying treason piece. This is a hood rat wannabe swirler bootlicks movie is what this is. And they're just trying to throw everything at the wall to see if anything sticks, anything to defend this garbage. The white media is trying to claim that this is some sort of victory for dark-skinned black women, portraying the people who helped the Europeans carry out the slave trade as a victory. Black women should be celebrating that. And when they get you to cheer for your own destruction, that's when you are good and truly defeated. oh, but we should be cheering this movie because it somehow is refuting that dark-skinned black actresses aren't desirable, right? Or at the very least, it's going to raise the stock of dark-skinned black women, right? The same way Precious did, huh? The same way Harriet did, huh? And if this is supposed to be making black women more desirable in someone's eyes, whose eyes? All these women do is they're running around looking as masculine as possible.
That's why I said,
and you're gonna believe this is what white women think about black women. That's what this movie is. You better learn to recognize when someone's laughing at you. You got these white women who produced it and wrote it and put this garbage out here, and this is how they portray black women as being a bunch of masculine. The word, by the way, that you might want to pick up is virilized. Virile. That's a male trait. Virility. If you see female bodybuilders, you've probably seen a lot of them look just like dudes. That's called virilization. They've become virile. They've become like men. And this is what they say about black women in general, simply because black women exist. A black woman ain't got to be muscular. She ain't got to be running around with an angry face. The fact that she's black, that makes her less feminine. As that's how these white supremacists see things. This is meant to present to the world. This is what black women are. You notice how nobody's saying that Viola Davis is an angry black woman. They're not saying that Lashana Lynch is an angry black woman. Oh, they're not throwing that term around now. Here you have a movie where the black women are mean mugging to beat the band, and you don't have anybody in the white media saying, oh, they're just so angry. These women are just so angry. No, they're saying exactly the opposite. Oh, this is strong and empowering. This is something that every black person should see. The white media is trying to tell black women that this is their Black Panther. A bunch of traitors.
You ain't miss shit.
And that black people in general should celebrate this because, well, a white movie studio put this out there. Sadly, you have a lot of black people who've taken up this pathetic habit of making excuses for all kinds of degrading material. A lot of black folks do it on an impulse because they don't want to have to face up to the reality.
And there is a real
They're scared that facing reality means they're going to have to get off their butts and do something about it. When you have no imagination and no work ethic, the last thing you want is for someone to tell you that you're going to have to put out some effort. But it seems enough black people have gotten the memo, just like with Harriet.
But you see what I'm saying?
They're understanding that the most sophisticated form of propaganda is when something presents itself as opposition to white supremacy, when in reality, it's support.
Dude,
the biggest traitor of all is the enemy within. And when you go applauding and supporting things that harm you, you've committed treason against yourself. This movie is nothing to be proud of. It's an insult and a disgrace put out by our enemies. It is meant to degrade black women and to send the message that being a woman isn't good enough. If you're a black woman, well, forget about stupid greeting cards saying I'm the mommy and the daddy. Now we're just going to go full retard and say the black women just need to be men. See, they don't do that kind of stuff with white women. They don't decide that they're going to be doing all this confusion and we're going to be telling white women that being a woman isn't good enough. See, when it's white women that you're talking about, whether it be on TV or in the movies or whatever, if they present a group of white women who are supposed to be some band of Amazons, they make sure you got the glam squad out there. All those white women, you better believe they're going to be looking real soft. But with black women, on the other hand, they want to make sure they look as rough and masculine as possible. That's deliberate. It sends the message that there is nothing feminine about a black woman and that a black woman should basically aspire to be a man. Hell, they're 2/3 of the way there already is what this movie's trying to say.
Live in our divine feminine.
And as black people, we need our womanhood as a people. We need our womanhood to be intact. As a people, we need our femininity to be intact. You're not going anywhere if everybody's just trying to be a whole bunch of bowed up, hyper masculine males. That ain't going anywhere. It's like a bird with only one wing. It's not going anywhere. It's going to flap a lot, be a lot of activity, but it's not going to move anywhere. And they're trying to get black women to salute this and say, you know what, you're right. There's something wrong with our femininity. We need to be more like men. No, what they're saying is black people need to self-destruct. That's what this is meant to do.
Saying if
watch this movie. It's going to be given all kinds of awards and accolades come award season. See, they love doing that stuff. It's just like The Last King of Scotland.
When is she going
with Forrest Whitaker? Whenever you portray black people as being a bunch of violent savages, when you have anti-black narratives like Precious, subservient porn, stuff that shows black people as being subservient to white folks. Oh, the white media, the awards groups, they just love that. That's what the white media wants to see get validated. So don't be surprised when come award season, all of a sudden Viola Davis are going to be saying, "Oh, her portrayal in The Woman King was a revelation," blah blah blah, whatever.
Even look at
and a lot of black people, especially those in Hollywood who want white media jobs, they're going to be tripping over themselves to defend this crap and try to argue us down about why this is a good thing. They're auditioning for a job. We all know it.
Positive and negative.
As the black media, you notice that we focus a lot on entertainment, and there's a reason for that. As I've told you, white supremacy believes in duality. There's two sides to what they do, and their media is no different. So-called news and so-called entertainment, they're just flip sides of the same coin. The same people who produce and broadcast the news that you watch or read, these are also the same white people who produce the entertainment that you watch too. Under white supremacy, entertainment's purpose is to teach and reinforce racial roles. And the racial hierarchy in this society is what it teaches. It dramatizes the way that white power wants you to see the world and your place in it. And the white news job is to justify these paradigms, to convince people that the anti-black propaganda is rooted in reality. And then, of course, we have these brain-dead morons who will then say, well, whatever you see in the movies, well, it's true. Isn't that what they always say? Oh, it's based on reality, until, of course, they need to say that it's not.
They have to put the truth.
The white media sets up these self-fulfilling prophecies. And where black women are concerned, we see this effort to brainwash them in its most perverted form. That's what the target is for this. They're hoping to get black women to go along with it, but as they're seeing, it ain't working. Black women ain't taking the okie doke. And they shouldn't. This movie is blasphemous. They make black women the face of the traitors who sold Africa out.
Right.
They know that people are not going to be fooled by this movie, but the whole point is we're going to make black women into the face of attacking other black people.
Right.
We're going to be teaching black women, your job is to be attacking other black people. You should be leading the charge to do that.
We're not going to.
They're just putting aside any pretense at this point.
Are we?
When they say strong and independent, they mean blatant treason. That's your empowerment. Your empowerment is treason.
Black elites are very.
See, when you don't know your history, people can put anything over on you. They can tell you blatant lies, and you won't know any better. And even if you do, you won't have the ammunition to shoot down the lies. From Harriet to this, you never see the white media presenting black women as strong and independent, fighting against white men.
Never.
You never see them putting black women on a pedestal to do that.
Well,
and the message is crystal clear.
Yeah.
You want the white powers that be to give you a production budget and give you a means to be able to tell a story about some black folks. You got to be fighting other black people. You better not call yourself fighting against white people. Oh, no. Ain't gonna be no woman king who's fighting the war against the Europeans.
Oh, you're so?
But this Woman King movie, this is just a case study in how white supremacy is continuing its efforts to try to brainwash our people, to get us to look at traitors as being our heroes, look at the heroes as basically being nothing at all. But the lesson that has to be taken away from all this is that treason is only a sin if it exists in a culture that identifies what constitutes treason, and you have a people who call out the traitors.
Yep.
That's the only time that treason is a sin. You got to have a culture that is willing to say, this is what treason is. And then you got to have people who are going to stand on it and say, hey, we're calling out the treason when we see it. We're going to call out the traitors when we see them. In the past, the black baby boomer generation in particular, they refused to be on code.
Yep.
They wanted to remain children forever. They wanted to pretend that they could escape blackness if they could merely be in proximity to the dominant society.
They were toys.
Integration, indeed. What they really wanted to escape was responsibility. Because you see, power demands that you take responsibility for what happens in your life and in the world around you.
They just want to come.
On the other hand, if you want to be up under white mommy and white daddy and play full time, then what you ask for is integration. We'll go ahead and let white mommy and white daddy handle things, let them run things. We all see how stupid that was. And if you can't still understand how all this off-code crap is traitor class behavior, then congratulations, you are part of the traitor class. No, we cannot allow everyone to simply do their own thing. Because for a lot of black folks, their thing is to sell the rest of us out. Being off code is not some victimless crime, because we don't live in a bubble. We live in a world, the real world, where the backstabbing and the go for self mentality of one person or a group of individuals has direct and deadly consequences for the rest of us. But intolerance for treason isn't enough. Having the strength of character and the steel to call out traitors, even when it's people you have known personally, that's not enough. A culture that calls out treason must also have the will to punish it, and that means power.
And that means
power isn't given, it's taken.
That shit.
You see, these off-code traitor-class Negroes, they know that the white powers that be are going to feed them crumbs, so they'll be able to eat, however pathetically. But what they count on is that we are not going to impose penalties for treason. People who call out treason have to be virtuous enough to make sure that treason doesn't go unanswered. When a people make it clear that something is intolerable to them and that they are fully willing to bear whatever attempts organized power tries to make to disincentivize them from acting in their own interest, a people who are determined to protect their interests are ultimately a people who established power must come to terms with, whether they want to or not. White power doesn't like the traitors and only sees them as useful idiots. And when it's clear that they have no use, they'll be thrown away because in the end, white supremacy always breaks its tools. But our job is to make sure that we leave the traitor class with absolutely nowhere to go. We're not going to be allowing the traitors or their white media enablers or anyone else to define what constitutes treason. We are going to be the ones who define that. And we are going to be the ones who make it clear what the consequences will be.
Yep, like Jeff Hart.
Good evening, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors. ACAB Devil, Detroit Beauty Supply, JC Womack, Justin Marcus, and Burkett Cochrane. Salute to them, and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing.
I'll try to get them back on.
Let's get them back on. Shit.
Calm down.
I'm just saying, first and foremost, I agree with a lot that was said, but period. The only way that a lot of this shit is going is if motherfuckers stand, like I said, same way that these bitches stand on shit about their baby daddies and all this, stand on the shit that matters. Stand on it. Stand on business.
Right.
And this is real business. Fuck the dumb business that y'all be standing on.
All right, I just checked one. All right, I agree with what Professor said 2 years ago, still relevant today. 2 years later.
Yeah, like I said, at the end of the day, the way that motherfuckers be standing on business about baby daddies and all this hood shit, nigga, stand on business about what we say that we don't want from these motherfuckers and what we ain't gonna take from these motherfuckers. Right. Stand on business. Right. Don't let them usher it in through your children. Don't let them usher it in to your household through other dumb shit like shows and shit like, nigga, stand on business. Am I allowed to say nigga on here? Nigga, stand on business.
All right, y'all. Move to the next topic. And that is cities that we should avoid at all costs.
Cities we should avoid at all costs. I got a few of them. But
top 15 U.S. cities Black Americans are leaving and why you might leave too.
Let's see these motherfuckers. I bet you I'll agree with like 10 off top. 10 off top. I can tell. No, you started it. Don't worry about all that. Look, don't worry about it. It's only 3 more seconds.
Behind the gleaming skyscrapers, the vibrant cultural scenes, and the charming picturesque landscapes of America's cities, a sinister reality lurks. The reasonless fury and hostility of racism and segregation, a toxic stain on the nation's fabric, persists in many urban and rural areas, making life unbearable for Blacks in there. From overt acts of violence to subtle microaggressions, racism has been a suffocating presence in cities and towns that should have promised freedom, equality, and opportunity. The echoes of slavery, segregation, and systemic oppression still reverberate through the streets of these cities, where Black Americans are disproportionately affected by poverty, police brutality, lack of access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities. The weight of history bears down on these communities, perpetuating cycles of injustice and inequality. Here, we expose these top racist cities in the U.S., where systemic racism, hate crimes, and racial disparities make them hazardous for Black Americans to live, work, and thrive. Before we go ahead with it, don't forget to hit the thumb button to show support. Share the video with as many as you can to keep your friends and families informed. And if you still haven't, do kindly subscribe to our channel for more insightful contents and stay updated on our latest releases. Now, without further ado, here are the top 15 racist cities in the U.S. Blacks must abstain from. Number 1, Negro Foot, Virginia.
Oh, Negro.
Just the mere mention of the name already gives one cold sweats under the hot sun. The name clearly screams it all, that not one single Negro is allowed to step foot in the community and its vicinity. Negro Foot is an unincorporated community in Hanover County, Virginia. The city is so synonymous with the Ku Klux Klan and racial violence that it's named after the organization's brutal traditions. It's said that the community gets its name from a local landmark, but the history of this place is said to have more than one origin story, but all of them are rooted in racial violence and a Black man being brutalized as a warning. According to a local legend, white slave owners had cut off an enslaved man's foot as punishment for running away and seeking freedom. And another account, a local history tome, says the tradition of the place has it that for an atrocious act of cannibalism, a recently arrived African was drawn and quartered, and that, as a warning, parts of his body were hung in various parts of the colony. His foot, giving name to a section that is still known as Negro Foot. Another work notes that slaveholders sometimes purposefully crippled habitual runaway slaves by cutting off one foot or one or more toes. In 1705, when slavery was codified, dismemberment was considered a legitimate form of punishment for habitual runaways, as long as it was not likely to prove fatal. Gross, right? As the years passed by, the legacy of brutality and oppression continued to shape the social fabric of the community. In Negro Foot, segregation is not just a matter of law, but a way of life. Black men are relegated to the fringes of society, forced to live in cramped, ramshackle cabins on the outskirts of town. They are all denied access to basic amenities, such as healthcare, education, and employment opportunities. The community's white residents, on the other hand, enjoys a life of relative privilege and comfort. They live in grand antebellum mansions with sprawling lawns and ornate fountains, controlling the local economy, owning the land, the businesses, and the institutions that govern daily life. Number 2, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a city nestled on the shores of Lake Michigan, has a complex and troubled history when it comes to issues of racism and racial tension. The city struggles with systemic racism, segregation, and racial disparities have had a profound impact on the lives of its residents, particularly those from African American and other marginalized communities.
Shipping containers right now. You understand? They keep shipping containers right now from human trafficking. You mean to tell me that they'll keep shipping containers and ain't nobody kept no fucking boat? And that was the biggest form of human trafficking? Play the video.
The roots of Milwaukee's racial tensions date back to the early 20th century, when the city experienced significant immigration and migration, leading to tensions between white and Black residents. The city's manufacturing industry, which was a major driver of the local economy, was also segregated, with African Americans often relegated to lower paying and more menial jobs. As the civil rights movement gained momentum in the 1960s, Milwaukee became a focal point for protests and marches. The city's African-American community, frustrated by decades of segregation and inequality, took to the streets to demand change. The 1967 Milwaukee riot, sparked by tensions between police and the African-American community, highlighted one of the deep-seated racial tensions in the city. Today, Milwaukee remains one of the most segregated cities in the United States. The city's segregation index is a staggering 79.8, meaning that nearly 80% of either African Americans or whites would need to move to a different neighborhood to achieve integration. This segregation has contributed to significant racial disparities in areas such as education, employment, healthcare, and housing. For example, the median household income for African American families in Milwaukee is significantly lower than that of white families. The city's public schools are also highly segregated, with many African American students attending schools with limited resources and opportunities. Additionally, Milwaukee has some of the worst health outcomes for African Americans in the country, including high rates of infant mortality, hypertension, and diabetes. Number 3, Minneapolis. Behind the facade of Minneapolis's sparkling lakes, pristine green spaces, and bicycle-friendly streets, a more complex reality lurks. Residents of this proudly liberal city swell with pride over its many attractions, drawing comparisons to Copenhagen and boasting a legacy of progressive politics inspired by iconic figures like Hubert Humphrey, Walter Mondale, and Paul Wellstone. Yet, despite this self-image of inclusivity and social consciousness, deep-seated racial tensions and disparities have long plagued this Midwestern metropolis, revealing a troubling dichotomy between Minneapolis's polished exterior and its more troubled, unequal interior. The city's history of racism dates back to the early 20th century, when discriminatory practices in real estate and lending, including redlining and racial covenants, limited the choices of where Black residents could live. These practices effectively pushed Black residents into small, segregated areas, while other neighborhoods became predominantly white. This legacy of segregation has persisted, with Minneapolis experiencing some of the worst racial disparities in the nation today. One of the most striking examples of these disparities is in home ownership rates. In Minnesota, the median net worth of white households is $211,000, compared to just $0 for Black households and $18,000 for Latino households. This wealth gap is a direct result of generations of systemic racism, which has limited access to credit, education, and job opportunities for communities of color. The consequences of these disparities are far-reaching. For example, a recent study found that historically redlined neighborhoods in Minneapolis are hotter than other areas of the city, disproportionately exposing communities of color to heat-related illness. This is because these neighborhoods have fewer trees, parks, and green spaces, and more heat-trapping concrete buildings and asphalt roads. The extraordinary racial gap for Minnesotans when it comes to education outcomes and healthcare is just another absurd act in a state where progressive ideals often mask stark realities. Despite Minnesota's reputation for excellent schools and top-notch medical care, African American and indigenous students lag far behind their white peers in reading and in proficiency of so many other subjects. Black families own their homes at far lower rates than white families, among the largest such disparity in the country. And the city's predominantly white police force, which has been accused of racist practices for decades, rarely disciplines officers with troubled records. The Minnesota paradox, a term coined by Professor Samuel L. Myers, Jr., refers to the stark contrast between Minnesota's reputation as a progressive and inclusive state and the harsh reality of its racial disparities. This paradox is evident in the fact that Minnesota is one of the best places to live in America, with excellent schools, housing, and job opportunities, yet it is also one of the worst places for Black people to live, with significant gaps in unemployment rates, education, and healthcare. Number 4, Chicago. From the early 1800s, Chicago is known to be one of the most segregated cities in the United States. Over the last century, an array of political and cultural forces have created clear lines of division between racial groups. These demarcations were shaped by racist sentiments toward Black residents and non-whites, and manifested through urban planning, housing policies, discriminatory banking, and other practices, all effectively confining people from different demographic groups to certain parts of the city. Tens of thousands of Black residents are also leaving their traditional South and West Side neighborhoods in recent years, as has been extensively reported, in what some are calling an out-migration or a reverse migration. The city's Black population peaked in the mid-20th century and is now at its lowest level since then, with 787,551 Black residents as of 2020. Black communities bore the brunt of the closings of 50-plus Chicago public schools that were shuttered during former Mayor Rahm Emanuel's administration. Chicago's suburbs, Indiana, and other Midwestern states are popular destinations for Black residents, but most Black people are also going back to the South, citing a lack of well-paying jobs and resources, as well as steady gun violence and a rising cost of living, as their main reasons for leaving the city. Housing discrimination is still a significant problem in Chicago. A 2017 Fair Housing study looked into 6 community areas that had the most reported complaints of racial and income discrimination against renters: Jefferson Park, the near North Side, Bridgeport, Hyde Park, Clearing, and Mount Greenwood. 63% of the time, Black testers posing as potential renters holding CHA housing choice vouchers experienced some form of discrimination. The highest ratio of discriminatory acts to race-related tests occurred in the near North Side neighborhood, where over half of the tests involved race discrimination, the Chicago Commission on Human Relations and the Chicago Lawyers Committee found. Despite the city's first settler, Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable, being of Haitian descent, Chicago's infamous segregation is still intact, and it joins a list of large cities with similar rates of racial polarization, such as Cleveland, Newark, Philadelphia, and Houston. Through a century of discriminatory strategies from the city and the real estate industry, in addition to antiquated attitudes toward Black residents and people of color, Chicago continues to be a city of neighborhoods, highly segregated neighborhoods. Number 5, Harrison, Arkansas. Harrison, Arkansas is among the many small towns that make up the Boone County. Despite the lush nature surrounding the town, it is overshadowed by a darkened cloud. Harrison is not really known for its quaint town square, proximity to Buffalo National Park, or its close-knit community. It is rather known for its racist reputation and unwelcomeness to minorities. Harrison's lack of diversity is deeply rooted in its racist past, which has led to a long-standing reputation that continues to impact the town today. 2 devastating incidents in 1905 and 1909 saw white mobs drive out the town's Black population of over 115 people, leaving a lasting scar. The town became known as a sundown town, a term used to describe overwhelmingly white communities that are deemed unsafe for minorities after sunset. This notorious reputation was further solidified when a new and contentious company moved into Harrison, generating widespread media attention. The town's connection to the Ku Klux Klan has also contributed significantly to its racist image. In the late 1980s, the KKK established a presence in Zinc, Arkansas, a small town just 15 miles from Harrison. The organization's leader, Thomas Robb, even claimed that Harrison was the KKK's national headquarters, creating a lasting correlation between the town and the white supremacist Group 1. Today, Harrison's racist past continues to impact the lives of its residents and perpetuate a reputation that many are working to overcome. Numerous media outlets, including international outlets, gained interest, furthering negative press around the so-called Klan town. In 2002, a visiting football team stopped off at a local McDonald's after playing a game at Harrison Junior High. It was Halloween, so the restaurant was running a special, free ice cream cones for people who showed up in costume. A young person came in, draped in a sheet, as a ghost to collect a free cone. Some visiting athletes of color mistook the costume for a Ku Klux Klan robe, including one young player who was discovered hiding in the corner of the men's room, quaking with fear. A newspaper in Fayetteville published a letter from an adult who traveled with the team about the dangers of visiting Harrison. The local newspaper in Harrison didn't publish it, but citizens knew about and talked about the letter. Most of the reaction in Harrison went like this: why would anyone react like that? What made the Black-colored youngsters believe that this was a dangerous place? Harrison's mayor, Bob Reynolds, heard these questions, and he knew they were all genuine. since he understood some of the background of the town's troubled racial history. He knew about the early 20th century violence that drove more than 100 black citizens, leaving only one from the town. He knew the outsized media presence of area white supremacist entities, including a family that claimed to be the leaders of the Ku Klux Klan. Leading up to 2020, with the impact of nearly 18 years of the task force, so many anti-racist organizations have been able to take down white supremacist billboards in the town, hold fundraisers for their minority scholarship, host diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative training sessions within the community, and peaceful Black Lives Matter protests. But in July 2020, amid the pandemic and uproar following the murder of George Floyd, Wheeler, a resident and an anti-racist of Harrison, Arkansas, said their hard work felt like it came crashing down when a YouTube video by influencer Rob Bliss reinstated the town's racist reputation. In his video, holding a Black Lives Matter sign in America's most racist town, Bliss stood on the side of the road and outside the Harrison Walmart, innocently advocating for Black Lives Matter. In return, the video showed townspeople in Harrison arguing with him, yelling slurs at him, and threatening him to leave. The video amassed millions of views, currently standing at 12.5 million, and immediately gained worldwide attention, thereby revealing the ongoing racial violence in Harrison. Number 6, Alaska. Wondering if this is true? Yes, it is, but in a different way. Alaska operates on a kind of racism where they smile in one's face, then screw them over the next second and act like nothing ever happened. It's quite outrageous when a discrimination case is compromised because of deceitful tactics. Imagine an investigator lying to a company where a Black employee works, deliberately sabotaging the case and its government funding. To make matters worse, the police officials went ahead to bribe organizations like the NAACP to silence the Black individual and deny them justice. Another disturbing trend is the refusal to prosecute white individuals who commit crimes against Black people. This blatant disregard for justice perpetuates the notion that Black lives are inferior in Alaska. Such systemic racism undermines trust in law enforcement and the justice system as a whole. For over 150 years, Black individuals and families have settled or transited through Alaska. They've patrolled the seas, built roads, served in the military, opened businesses, fought injustice, run political office, created artwork, and forged communities. Historians have often emphasized the stories of Alaska's settler population of mostly white European-descended people who sought to claim and develop indigenous lands. In this regard, Blacks in Alaska have occupied a different geopolitical station than they have in other parts of the country, where they have constituted the largest and most visible minority population. Alaskans of African descents are usually not left out. They've been targets of racial discrimination. In recent years, white Alaskans are known to be incredibly racist toward the entire Black population, which is a head-scratcher. They complain that the natives get to hunt when they don't. The natives have their own hospitals and all. They also complain about all the things the natives have, and they, being the whites, don't have showcasing the greed they have within them. They want to have it all. They perpetuate stereotypes about natives being more predisposed to crime, alcoholism, and other negative attributes. According to a Black anti-racist resident, there was an incident where white high school boys went around shooting homeless native folks in downtown Anchorage with paintball guns. He noted that the native teens at the predominantly white high school were regularly victims of racism and slurs. There are also several reports stating that minorities were definitely treated much differently, from stereotypes to outright hate crimes involving both Black people and Native Alaskans. In the Anchorage School District of Alaska, Black students receive failing grades twice that of white students, while Native Alaskans receive failing grades 3 times that of their white counterparts. Number 7, Fresno, California. Cracked roads and blocks of wilted grass and dirt envelop the Edison High School campus in the heart of West Fresno. Police cars, churches, and liquor stores abound. But trees, grocery stores, hospitals, parks, restaurants, and banks remain out of sight. Meanwhile, across highways 180 and 99 heading north toward Bullard Avenue, there is another side of Fresno, where amenities flower and many white residents prosper. The injuries and killings of Black men and women at the hands of police officers have constantly flooded the international headlines in recent weeks. While protesters have raised concerns about police brutality locally, residents of Fresno's historically Black neighborhoods say other forms of systemic racism have deep generational roots in California's fifth largest city, as they do in many major American cities. Bound roughly by Highway 99 on the east, Marks Avenue on the west, North Avenue on the south, and Highway 180 on the north, West Fresno is home to about 26,500 people. Latinos make up about 2/3 of the area, and Black people about 1/5. According to 2018 data from the U.S. Census Bureau, over half of West Fresno lives below the poverty line, while the rest of Fresno hovers around 27%. West Fresno Black and brown residents earn about half the median salary as the rest of Fresno. Fewer residents graduate high school or own homes, and on average, they live about 20 years less than residents in wealthier parts of the city, according to a 2012 Fresno State study. That's not by accident. Residents told the B unrelenting disinvestment, neglect, and a lack of representation have held back generations of Black and brown residents. During her time at Edison Cotton, a former Black resident of Fresno, California, said she endured several instances of blatant racism, including a teacher calling her the N-word multiple times. She fought hard to secure what students in other neighborhoods take for granted, like helmets for her school's football team and restorative justice counselors. But fighting tooth and nail for equal treatment while achieving a 4.9 GPA took its toll. Cotton was diagnosed with acute stress disorder, constantly fought off illness, and ended up in the emergency room several times throughout high school. Cotton is one of the latest in a long string of West Fresno residents who have poured their hearts into securing a better life for the community. While they have made progress, residents feel that without champions on the north side of Shaw Avenue, the divide between the two Fresnos will grow. Number 8, Mississippi. Mississippi has also had previous atrocities in past years. In 1955, Emmett Till, a 14-year-old, was killed and his body thrown in the Tallahatchie River after he allegedly whistled at a white woman. A mob of white men broke into the Pearl County Jail in 1958 and executed Mac Charles Parker, held on charges of raping a white woman. Medgar Evers, too, a civil rights leader, was shot and killed at his doorstep last year. But none of these incidents was tied directly to a massive civil rights effort, and after the Fuhrer died, the state was left more or less to its own affairs. It is feared that the Philadelphia incident may be only a prelude to the struggle ahead. National leaders have called for more civil rights volunteers to supplement the hundreds of students who will conduct schools and voter registration drives among. There will be more federal involvement. These efforts are being met by hostility and suspicion. If the state is not actually being invaded by the enemy, many of its white residents are not to be convinced otherwise. At the same time, the capital city's infrastructure hasn't had any major investment for quite some time, but the recent water issues that happened lately are one of the most humiliating. Jackson is bordered by a 30,000-acre reservoir, ironically named after a white supremacist. Jackson's water crisis is the latest example of the kind of plantation dynamics that still plague Mississippi 150 years after slavery. Racism not only pollutes the water in Mississippi, it pollutes the workplace as well. The dynamics of worker exploitation seen in the state today all have their roots in slavery. White Southern planters, who made their fortunes off the backs of enslaved Africans, had no tolerance for Northerners or abolitionists talking about freedom and equality. During the height of the cotton boom, Mississippi had more millionaires per capita than anywhere else in the country. Planters would rather go to war than even entertain the notion of freeing their slaves and paying a wage like the owners of factories in the North. This is similar to the dynamic way of life in the state today, from how the public money is handed to corporations, or in some cases Brett Favre, instead of being invested into the infrastructure of the people. In the last few decades, major manufacturers like Nissan and Toyota have opened plants in Mississippi because of the billions of dollars the state doles out to these businesses to set up shop here. Mississippi is actually the birthplace of the tax incentive. In 1930, the state used subsidies to lure a company out of Chicago, and since then, tax giveaways like Mississippi's have fueled a manufacturing boom across the South. Workers in these plants are mistreated, overworked, and uninformed about their rights, and employers engage in union-busting tactics to ensure that workers can't organize for better conditions. The minimum wage in such companies is just $7.25, and most times employers that pay such amounts or a little bit higher than that treat workers however they want. Nissan, for example, attracts workers because it pays $15 per hour. A particular witness of this is a Black individual who was sent on a workers' rights panel with other Mississippi organizers in U.S. She wrote that the Secretary of Labor, Marty Walsh, and one other Nissan worker talked about the plantation culture at the plant and how workers there feel like property. She emphasized that when tax dollars are funneled to companies that perpetuate plantation-like dynamics, it's tantamount to funding the Black race's own exploitation. That is, the whites are essentially using their own resources against them. Mississippi's anti-union environment is another way racism pollutes the workplace. Mississippi is an at-will or right-to-work state, a major selling point for big corporations. Only 5% of Mississippi's workers are union members, and the workers that are in unions are mostly white males. That means 95% of workers who have no representation are subjected to low pay, unsafe working conditions, and humiliation in exchange for a paycheck. 18.7% of residents live at or below the national poverty level, and 91% of those poor are people of color. Since unions have been proven to close wealth gaps for Black workers, allowing workers to organize has the potential to address these long-standing inequities. Unfortunately, politicians from southern states have been able to successfully convince voters that unions will stifle the businesses that are moving to the state. This also has its roots in slavery. The powers that have been in the South are those that are desperate to maintain access to cheap labor. When federal troops pulled out of the South after the Civil War, they left Black people in a dangerous position. With no protection from Union soldiers, whites in the South, still seething with anger over the loss of the war, were able to easily take back every gain made. This is the system that created Jim Crow, segregation, disenfranchisement, lynchings, and the resurgence of the KKK. Rich whites were able to essentially get their free workforce back by passing racist vagrancy laws. This unjustly put African Americans back on plantations by using convict leasing programs, which started America's current prison industrial complex. The South is without a doubt the most anti-union, anti-worker region in the U.S., and the poverty rate in it makes all modes of worker abuse possible. Alternatively, this moment can be viewed as a groundbreaking opportunity to establish new labor rights, marking a significant turning point after 150 years of exploitation. If achieved, this could ultimately pave the way for true freedom and empowerment for Black workers. Number 9, Honolulu. Honolulu, the capital city of Hawaii, is often perceived as a paradise with a unique cultural blend. However, beneath its idyllic surface, the city struggles with issues of racism and discrimination, including anti-Black racism. Despite being a minority, Black people in Honolulu face distinct challenges that are often overlooked. Research has shown that Black residents and visitors in Honolulu experience microaggressions, subtle expressions of racism that can be damaging and perpetuate feelings of exclusion and otherness. For instance, a Black person might be asked, "Where are you really from?" implying that they are not from Hawaii or the United States. Such questions, although often unintentional, can be hurtful and reinforce stereotypes. Discrimination in housing and employment is another significant issue affecting Black people in Honolulu. Studies have found that Black applicants face discrimination in the rental market, with some landlords refusing to rent to them. Similarly, Black individuals also encounter barriers in the job market, limiting their access to opportunities and resources. The lack of representation is also a concern for Black people in Honolulu. With a relatively small population, Black people often find themselves underrepresented in government, education, and other areas. This leading to a lack of voice and visibility, making it challenging for their concerns to be addressed. Instances of police brutality and racial profiling against Black people in Honolulu are not left out, and these have raised concerns about systemic racism and bias within the criminal justice system. Varieties of incidents have sparked protests and calls for reform, highlighting the need for greater accountability and transparency. In Honolulu, the spirit of aloha is deeply ingrained in the local culture. However, for Black people, this spirit is not always extended to them. The aloha is a principle that emphasizes compassion, kindness, and inclusivity, but in practice, it often seems reserved for those who fit into the traditional Hawaiian mold. While white visitors and residents often have the privilege of experiencing the aloha spirit without hesitation, Black people are frequently subjected to skepticism, exclusion, and racism. This disparity highlights the need for a more nuanced understanding of aloha and its application in contemporary Hawaiian society. According to the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission's 2019 annual report, discrimination remains a significant issue in Hawaii, with Black individuals facing unique challenges. The U.S. Census Bureau's Quick Facts also highlights the underrepresentation of Black people in Honolulu County. Furthermore, local news outlets, such as the Honolulu Star-Advertiser, have reported on instances of police brutality and racial profiling, sparking calls for reform. Number 10, Leith, North Dakota. Leith, North Dakota, a very small town located in the southwestern corner of Grant County, is known to have experienced racism and white supremacist activities in the past. In 2011, a white supremacist named Craig Cobb began buying land in Leith, a small town in Grant County, North Dakota. His vision was to create a neo-Nazi stronghold, which he called Cobbsville. Cobb's dream was to build a community where white supremacists could live, gather, and promote their hate-filled ideology without fear of persecution. To bring his twisted vision to life, Cobb started recruiting other white supremacists to join him in Leith. He even invited Tom Metzger, a former Ku Klux Klan leader, to visit the town and potentially relocate. Metzger, notorious for promoting violent racism, was a key figure in the white supremacist movement. Cobb's actions sent shockwaves through the small town, leaving residents on edge. The people of Leith were deeply concerned about Cobb's plans and the potential for violence and hate crimes. With a population of only about 20 residents at the time, they felt vulnerable to Cobb's extremist ideology. In response, the community came together to oppose Cobb's plans and promote a message of inclusivity and tolerance. Tensions escalated in August 2013 when a confrontation between Cobb and the town's residents led to his arrest. He was charged with menacing and terrorizing and was later sentenced to 4 years of supervised probation. The incident drew national attention, highlighting the ongoing struggle against white supremacy and hate groups in the United States. The events in Leith, North Dakota, serve as a stark reminder of the persistent threat of white supremacy and hate groups in America. The community's bravery in standing up against Cobb's hate-filled plans demonstrates the importance of promoting inclusivity, tolerance, and equality. Today, Leith remains a small but resilient community, committed to upholding these values and ensuring that hate has no home in their town. Number 11, Pulaski, Tennessee. Pulaski, a town with a racial makeup of 69.11% whites, 19.12% blacks, and 11.22% of other races. Pulaski, Tennessee is known as the birthplace of the Ku Klux Klan, popularly abbreviated as KKK, or the Klan was founded on December 24, 1865, by 6 ex-Confederate soldiers for the purpose of terrorizing, killing, and burning the already freed blacks, abolitionists, and white sympathizers. The group, which started up as a small racist club, has now grown into a large troop with so many members worldwide. Today, many Pulaski white residents support the plaque as it represents rivalry in the face of the Union and not a representation of racism. And this is a sentiment that does not agree with many Black Americans who reside in the town, so they are still standing up to fight for their rights. At the same time, other locals are doing their best to fight the reputation through social actions, arts, and so on. An instance of this is the Unsung Heroes Project, the Painting for the Trail of Tears Museum, which teaches about the Indian Act Removal Act, which forced Native Black Americans off their lands. Number 12, Rochester, New York. In a recent survey, 21% of respondents from Rochester, New York, stated that racial or ethnic discrimination in the city is a significant problem in the region. The survey, organized by the Levine Center to End Hate and the Jewish Federation of Greater Rochester, analyzes local attitudes toward discrimination. The Jewish Federation of Greater Rochester said the survey showed that Rochester is one of the overall welcoming places in the U.S., according to 81% of respondents. But unfortunately, the region still has challenges with discrimination based on race, sexual orientation, religion, and gender. A staggering 83% of residents acknowledge that racial problems persist for people of color in their community. While many white residents recognize discrimination as an issue, it remained a theoretical concern for them. In stark contrast, the majority of African Americans reported experiencing racial discrimination firsthand, making it an inescapable part of their daily lives. From the compilation of the entire research, it is obvious that racial division exists in perceptions of discrimination, with a substantial majority of Black individuals of about 69%, identifying race-based discrimination as a major issue, in stark contrast to the 18% of white individuals who share this concern. Those who reported experiencing racial discrimination firsthand revealed that these incidents often occurred in everyday settings. More than half, 51%, encountered discrimination while engaging in routine activities such as shopping or dining at restaurants. The workplace emerged as another hotspot for racial discrimination, with 45% of those who experienced discrimination reporting that it happened on the job. These findings underscore the pervasive nature of racial discrimination, which permeates various aspects of life in Rochester, from public spaces to professional environments. Number 13, Trenton, New Jersey. The city of Trenton showed on an unflattering national list of a 2023 report that identified the most racist U.S. cities. The report identified Black Americans as one of the most discriminated against races in the United States. That should serve as no real revelation for anyone living in Trenton or elsewhere. WPR used 5-year estimate data from the U.S. Census Bureau's American Community Survey from 2016 to collect data about median household income, unemployment rates, home ownership, poverty rate, and adult high school and bachelor's degree attainment. A notable example of this incident occurred on October 22, 2018, aboard a Flixbus coach traveling from Trento to Rome, which departed at 10 p.m. In a Facebook account of the episode by a student from Ferrara, an Italian lady around 40 years of age demanded that a 25-year-old man from Senegal named Mamadou leave his seat next to her and move to the back of the bus, reportedly adding, "You're colored, you're of another religion." The woman's persistence escalated the situation, causing the young man, who had been seated where the driver instructed, to become emotional and tearful. He urged her to call the police, hoping they would verify his right to travel on the bus and occupy the seat. The woman complied, and the police arrived promptly. However, instead of resolving the issue in his favor, the young man was asked to relocate, highlighting the racism he faced, even from the authorities he had trusted to uphold his rights. Number 14, Naperville, Illinois. Naperville is a city in DuPage and Will counties in the U.S. state of Illinois. It is a southwestern suburb of Chicago, located 28 miles west of the city on the DuPage River. As of the 2020 census, its population was 149,540, making it the state's fourth most populous city, with a racial makeup of 63.6% whites, 21% Asian, 4.56% Black Americans, 3.43% 2+ non-Hispanics, 3.24% white Hispanics. The city, being a suburb of Chicago, has long been regarded as a diverse and inclusive community, where residents from various backgrounds come together to create a vibrant and welcoming city. However, beneath its idyllic surface, Naperville is not immune to the complexities of racism and discrimination that plague many cities and towns. Racial disparities in education and economic opportunities still persist in today's world in the city, thereby limiting access to resources and opportunities for certain groups. Hate speech and bias-motivated crimes have also been reported from various angles of the city. On February 23rd, Gregory McMichael, Travis McMichael, and William Bryan hunted and lynched Ahmaud Arbery. On March 15th, the police shot and killed Breonna Taylor while acting on an illegal no-knock warrant. Throughout the rest of March and April 2019, reports of COVID-19's disproportionate impact on Black communities poured into homes and phones across the globe. So did reports about how structural racism intensified COVID-19's impact on indigenous communities and Latino communities, and reports about the rise of anti-Asian racism. Several reports about the rise of anti-Asian racism emerged from Naperville. The town's city council passed a resolution denouncing all acts of racism, intolerance, and unlawful discrimination, and will not tolerate them of any kind, in response to a woman calling Asian residents that supported a ban on selling recreational marijuana in Naperville roving carpetbaggers. The woman made the racist remark while reading from a prepared statement at a council meeting. This background information frames what happened in Naperville over Memorial Day weekend. For less than 24 hours before police officers murdered George Floyd, keeping his corpse pinned to Minneapolis asphalt for 2 minutes after forcing the life from his body, his beautiful and wonderfully made body, a black structure in the middle of Naperville's Cantori Park, read, "White Pride." It's no big surprise, as Naperville was among the sundown towns in the U.S. that removed some of its overtly racist policies because of an interest convergence, white economic aspirations, which required cheap non-white labor. Those in civic power in Naperville were not taking proactive steps to foster an equitable and inclusive community where diversity is valued and all individuals have equal opportunities. This lack of effort has hindered the city's progress towards becoming a truly multi-racialized community. They labored to forge a modern-day plantation on which middle and upper-class whites reside in a metaphorical big house. Of course, their actual houses are also enormous, and poor whites and racialized minorities are the needed labor force living in lesser conditions on site to make the plantation run. A cursory drive through Naperville reveals as much. And the last on the list, number 15, Milwaukee. As the Democratic National Convention shines a national spotlight on Milwaukee, the city's profound racial inequality and oppression have come under intense scrutiny. This timely attention coincides with America's ongoing reckoning with police violence and racial injustice, forcing a confrontation with the enduring legacy of white supremacy. Milwaukee serves as a poignant case study, illustrating the devastating impact of systemic racism on contemporary American life. The city's entrenched racial disparities, born from centuries of discriminatory policies and practices, have created a stark contrast between the experiences of white and black residents. From education and employment to housing and healthcare, Milwaukee's racial divide is evident in nearly every aspect of life. The African American community in Milwaukee faces significant barriers to economic mobility, perpetuating cycles of poverty and disadvantage. These obstacles include intense segregation in housing and education, as well as a criminal justice system that disproportionately affects communities of color. Furthermore, a myriad of other hardships rooted in the city's history of racism exacerbate these challenges. A recent report authored by University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee professor Mark Levine brings the city's rigid racial divisions into sharp focus, illuminating just how pronounced Milwaukee's disparities are, even when compared with other major cities experiencing similar issues. Levine's investigation reveals that Milwaukee's staggering 33.4% black poverty rate is nearly 5 times higher than that of whites in the city, while the median household income for African Americans, a figure 42% lower than it is for white residents, ranks as the lowest among America's 50 largest metropolitan areas. Milwaukee has long held the disgraceful distinction as the most segregated city in the country. It has an unconscionably high infant mortality rates for black babies, and it also incarcerates its African American citizens at a rate 10 times higher than white people. This rampant racial inequality has become part and parcel to daily life in the city of Milwaukee, an epidemic perpetuated by a collective unwillingness to seriously address it. In closing, to eradicate systemic racism in the city and across the U.S., it's essential to have absolute clarity about its origins. While many deny the existence of structural racism, blaming people of color for social ills through racial stereotypes, the injustices endured by black individuals today are, in fact, still a direct result of the institution of white supremacy that has been ingrained in the United States since its inception. That brings us to the end of yet another video segment. And if you found this quite engaging and informative, kindly click on the thumb up button in front of you, share video with friends and families, and consider subscribing.
And make sure y'all do the same for Frontline Black News. All right, I'm about to close this out. All right, what's your closing statement?
Peace, love, and abundance. And I'm gonna need for everybody to understand knowledge ain't free. You gotta pay attention. Okay? So that's first and foremost. Aside from that, thank everyone who did tune in and learn something, had their opinions on something. Thank you for everybody who commented. And we are the new ancestors. Yep. I don't know if people realize the significance of what that means. Right. But just know that your positivity, your energy is not just what you say, it's what you do. Right. So if you're not moving in that affirmative action that you're talking about, if you're not moving in that love that you're talking about, if you're not moving in that power that you're speaking under, don't be on no cyber shit. Just be real. You see what I'm saying? Let's all make sure that at this point in life is a beautiful thing, and life is something that can be beautiful. It's all up to you, mindset wise. But either way, make sure that you're prepared. Right. Stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready. Do you understand? Get right before you get what? Left. Exactly, bro. Do you understand? Get right before you get left. Do you see what I'm saying? We always gotta, like I said, stay on point, stay on code, stay with the times. Mm-hmm. Know what we are up against right now and stay prepared, and be prepared to stand for something, or you're gonna what? Fall for everything. That part. Do you understand, my bro? Me, my family, we all understand this. And when I say my family, I'm talking about y'all too. Mm-hmm. My extended family, we understand this. Right. So let's put it into action. Right. So that's what I got to say. So peace and abundance. Peace, y'all. So appreciate everybody that tapped in. Make sure y'all join us tomorrow or later on today for part 3. In the meantime, make sure y'all like and subscribe to all of our platforms, Frontline Black News on YouTube and Facebook, The Revolutionary Agenda on YouTube and Facebook, and this is Shabaka. One more thing. When you try to tell me I'm not indigenous, this is my great-grandfather, okay? This is Cicero Brown. And guess what National Geographic had to say about him? They didn't put even his name. 121-year-old Taos Pueblo Indian. Mm-hmm. That's it. And he died at 123. So please don't ever test my motherfucking history, baby. I go back generations. Love you. Mean it. So this is going to conclude season 5, episode 3, part 2 of the Frontline Black News. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to all our platforms, Frontline Black News on YouTube and Facebook, The Revolutionary Agenda on YouTube and Facebook, and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Facebook and Twitter. I appreciate Shabaka. Like and subscribe on all of them. Love ya. Peace.